Hello? Is someone there? Would you donate any Shabriri grapes in your possession to me? I'm on a pilgrimage, in search of the distant light. And when I eat one of those grapes, I can feel the light in the back of my eyes. Oh, many thanks to you. Now I can feel the distant light once more. That aside, I wonder what Shabriri grapes really are. Delectably tender and sweet, yet searing. What a sight they must be to behold. No. That's not possible. Not all of those people. Their own... So those noises I heard were... Sorry. I'm all right now. Don't mind me. I apologize. You only did as I asked. I'll be fine. Think no more of it. I apologize. I'll be fine.
Hello. I hope that actually worked out. If I remember correctly, then the front end of this video should have been my other character showing off Hayata vomiting. Some people said, oh, it goes on for really like a full minute. It's crazy. It was like a few seconds at most. You so disappointed me. You so disappointed me, comment section. I expected horrendous amounts of vomiting, and I got only a mild bleh, and that was it. Still, I appreciate it all the same. Okay, anyways, hello.
Hey.
I recorded a 6-hour-long part, if you didn't notice. If you're watching this on the playlist at some point in the future, then hopefully you will look down and be, oh, 20 minutes, that's nice. It's not going to be 20 minutes, no. Hopefully it will never be 6 hours or whatever it was again. I really don't want it to be, he said as he stood motionless in place. But, all the same, I have not felt like playing Elden Ring lately as a result of doing that. Not a big deal, but still sort of really don't feel like playing it right now. Apparently that feeling will only increase over time as I get closer to the end of the game. Beep. So, we will see how despondent I get later on in the series. Okay. But something I wanted to briefly show off, I will not be able to see this unless I use a glowstone. But yeah, there are indeed paintings of nerds up here. You know, there's like 2 guys doing a rap album up there. Yeah, that's supposed to be the twins, or whatever their names are. They each have their own names. This is the lady that Celovus wears on her head. So all the little helmets that I've been picking up, all the little nerd helmets, wherever they are. The nerd helmets right here. Carlos, Olivia, and Double Dudes, and Lapis Lazuli. All those are based off these nerds up here. That's all that's really going on. And I guess because they have absolutely no imagination, after you see them listed off here, they kind of just repeat themselves. They just give them more than one message on the screen. Made me think of that. But yeah, they just put their paintings up multiple times. Which is just the gaudiest fucking thing in the world. Like, really? Is the history of your institution so pathetic that you just have, like, 5 people? And then in your giant room, like, the hallowed halls of our 5 people. And here he is again, if you look 2 feet literally in the other direction. You could at least paint them again using a slightly different painting. It doesn't have to be the same thing. Anyways, yeah, I was just going to look around this room for a bit. Nothing really going on up here. There is an upper level. And by the way, hopefully I moved my mic a little bit, so I might sound a little bit more distant in this episode, or maybe not at all. But I was trying to get the controller away from the mic. I can still see it on the waveform, though, so there's no way that I'm ever going to be able to get rid of it entirely. Yeah. There's an upper level, I don't think you can actually get to it. But all the same, all the same, all the same. All the same nothing. Okay. But that's it, basically. There's nothing really to show off here. I just realized I'd run through this room and didn't really talk about it too much. This obviously is... What the play comes? Debate parlor. Okay, yeah. I knew it wasn't a classroom. So, yeah, this is supposed to be an arena for debates, I suppose. Which is exactly why they put a big red wolf inside of it. Don't ask me to make any sense out of it. Just, that's where he was. How did he get in here? I guess they let him in through here, maybe. From the outside. How did he get up here in the first place? Up to this place where you can only get through using the magic key? Shut up. That's the answer to that question, is shut up. Okay, so that's that. Got that pile of shit. Thankfully, I think I'm finally done with this entire area. And yes, I did go up the elevator because there was one item that I'd forgotten to pick up, and it was just like a smithing stone or something. It was next to nothing. Here, I'll even show it to you. Look, Schoolhouse Rock. Schoolhouse Rock bonfire. We'll go there, and I'll do that real fast. There's also a bunch of other stuff I need to talk about. Also, I picked up a few other things. One of the useful things about doing another character is that you go through and you don't actually have to take the elevator, by the way. Like you're talking about right on that. Just sit on the wheel itself, and then you go up there. But you don't have to. You can just run up here. And that's it. That's all that's going on. And right there was an item on this corpse. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's literally it. The only other thing that there is to do down here would be using that Iron Virgin that's at the bottom of this place, which Patches said would take us to the capital. Although knowing Patches, I kind of doubt it. I kind of get the impression it'll probably just either kill me or it will take me someplace completely unrelated, if it works at all. Yeah, I could be wrong. One thing that I do need to do, though, is we got the erudition gesture, which means I can finally get these two stupid towers out of the way. This is going to be sort of my cleanup episode. There's like a few other things I need to do as well. I also didn't do a couple of the catacombs, the dungeons, and none of you say anything about it. You guys never say anything about the actual content of the stuff I'm doing. Oh, I never picked up whatever this is. Great. You guys never actually say anything about the content. Like, you'll comment sometimes on whether I said something dumb or something. That's pretty much it. What should I replace? I'm kind of using all this shit. Oh, I also picked up the cross-leg gesture. It's something else I need to mention. The cross-leg gesture, I'll show this here in a second. Let me do my stupid erudition. There it is. It's over here. You don't actually have to wear the helmet for this one. For some reason. The puzzle for this one is that as long as you do the gesture, then the ladder will show up. But for some reason, I discovered this on my other character. Ooh, I'm merging with this other ghost, who's going at the same exact rate that I am. Look at us, does a couple cards. But the one that's over here, the, whatever this is called, Converted Fringe Tower. This is the Fringe Tower, and this is the Converted Fringe Tower. That one you actually do have to wear the silly helmet. Or one of them anyways. Apparently you have to wear one that has a crystal on top of its head so that it will shine light. I think that's the logic of it. Otherwise you get nothing. Memory Stone. Don't need more of those. I have way too many slots, in fact. Look how many... You get so many... This system is so bad. Like, I was complaining about this a few episodes ago, but the magic system really needs an overhaul, and I mentioned how you can turn one of the buttons on your controller into a modifier key. Like, you hold down the L2 button, and then you could use any button that you want and assign a specific spell to it, so you could just use it instantly. And if it's like, well, that's too fast, then you can just add like a very short cast wind-up animation to any of them. Like, it doesn't matter. There's tons of ways of fixing that problem. But the fact that you have to scroll through all of them is ridiculous, and I cannot believe that in Elden Ring, of all things, which is what? Demons, Dark 1, 2, 3, Skiro, and Bloodborne. On the 7th game, they're 7 games into this shit already. They're still doing that. It's so bad. It's one of those FromSoft-isms where, by the way, I'm also level 140, where, I may have been level 140, I can't remember. It's one of those FromSoft-isms where it's, like, you guys, you keep doing the same thing wrong over and over and over again, and it's one of the easiest things in the world to fix, and you just won't do it. I gotta take this one. Anyways, yeah, having slots for spells is something that got way out of hand in all the games. In Elden Ring, it's especially bad because you don't really get a choice in the matter. Because used to, the amount of spells that you can memorize was tied to different things, I think. Usually it's either tied to int itself or it's tied to whatever your magic gauge is tied to. And the games that actually have that, I can't quite remember. But point being is, it's usually somewhat limited. And most people honestly don't really use more than probably 4 or so spells anyways. Now some people are like crazy and they try to scroll through like a dozen different... Like I've seen people on this equipment bar, for example, like this. Personally, I use at most about 2 items on my bar. Being forced into using 3 is not something that I enjoy having to do. Because scrolling through the item wheel down here has the exact same effect as scrolling through the spell wheel has for me. I don't like doing it. It's very awkward, it feels bad, it's very clunky, and if you know me, I am extremely antagonistic towards anything that is, like, mechanically focused as opposed to just being decision-based. But anyways, I do see some people ever so often just absolutely fill every single one of these slots with as many things as they can put in there, and they never use them. They don't use them, and they constantly die because they're like, and then they wind up on, like, I don't know, like, they'll have, like a foul foot on there, or they'll have a random dagger that they never use, or they'll have, like, a warming stone, and then they'll use that accidentally, be like, oh no, oh no, oh no! Just don't... Why do you have all that shit on your bar, you fucking Nimrod? Stop doing that shit. Yes, I'm talking to you. If you sat there and you thought, oh, that's me, yes, stop, then just stop. It's such a simple solution, just don't do it. God, these things are so stupid looking. FromSoft and their obsession with making useful items also be completely ridiculous looking. Alright, I did not mean to remove that. God damn it. God damn it. God damn this system. Erudition. So you have to wear the stupid hat for this one, which makes it glow, because you're so smart. You're just so smart. So because you're so smart, you open the way. Fantastic, okay. Now, please get this horde thing off of my head. Where's my actual helmet? Where's my actual helmet? There we go, okay. There we go, alright. Now, doing these towers is actually not the first thing that I wanted to do, it's just... It was here. It was absolutely... Oh yeah, I forgot, you're here. It's one of these guys again. Who never get a chance to actually attack. They have little gems in their eyes. So kawaii. I forgot what those things are called. They're like gravel something. I have the name of the talismans. Yeah, Graven School talisman, that's what it was. Okay. So as a reminder, the act of collecting sorcerers to fashion them into the seeds of stars. Collecting sorcerers. So strange. We've seen this in a few places. We saw it obviously inside of the Academy. We saw it just up here, just now, in the converted Fringe Tower, whatever the hell that's about. And we also saw it down here, in the Witchbane Ruins. Why in those specific places? I don't know. I guess that's where they were conducting experiments. Now, you may be wondering, did the mages volunteer to become a giant gumball of gigantic heads? I don't know. You may also be wondering, why are they all wearing the masks? Shouldn't it just be like a ball of corpses instead of a gigantic bunch of stone heads? Why is this thing already open? That's very strange. Huh, the chest is already open. I wonder why. It's like someone already came here, opened it, saw it, didn't like it, and then left it, or they opened it, got something else out, and then put this back in. Cannon of Haima. Cannon of Hymen, am I right? Sorry. Gavel of Haima. Sorry. Okay, I'm not gonna remember their stupid names, so let's just start here. Okay. But before that, before I forget... let's see. Got the cross legs thing. Sorry, hold on, let me... there was a cross-leg gesture that you pick up down here. It's like right above where the Stormfoot catacombs are. Like right around this area. It's actually on this little ruin structure. So you actually find it by going from here, the Stormhill Shack, all the way down here. And actually there's another one of those starlight shard things down here. Then you go over here, you climb up on top of the ruins, then way up at the top is a corpse that is sitting cross-legged. For some reason. There doesn't seem to be a story behind it, it's just there. And you pick up the gesture, then you know the gesture, because your character is too dumb to know that they can sit down with their legs crossed unless they see a corpse doing it. The end. Okay. So I got that. And there's a bunch of other things that I have not read yet that I completely forgot about. The two things that I want to do today, and I can go ahead and remove this, actually. Okay. The two things that I'm going to do today is... that I know for certain, is I need to do Stillwater Cave, which I never did, and I need to do Cliff Bottom Catacombs, which I briefly went inside of, and I was showing you the little horde goblin men that I was farming outside, but I never actually did it. Also, I might do some of these Everjails as well, and I also need to go see about Alexander, because I'm getting really close to the quest progression forcing him to go over here. And he may have already moved. I don't know. But he'll be somewhere thereabouts here. So I'll try to get a hold of that today. I was just afraid to go over into Caelid because, you know, flags and such. Okay, so that's that. Okay, yes. Alright. Look at spell, then look at other thing. Yeah, Starlight Shard, that's the thing I was thinking of. I only have 3 of them. And you do seem to find these things... You know the things that I was saying might be sundials? You usually find them there. From if I remember correctly. You find them in those places. Let me turn my mic. I can see the waveform of it. Whenever you touch the mic at all, it freaks out and loses its mind. So I try to be very careful. You usually find them on those things. And as I mentioned, those things that look like sundials, or whatever they are pointed in the wrong direction often. And in many cases, they don't have the little bitty pointy bit that would act as the minute hand, so they don't even make any sense. Unless they lost them, I don't know. But maybe they have some sort of function where they're designed to collect starlight. Why exactly they would be half a bowl, I don't know. But maybe they are meant to collect those, and then over time they form into that. I don't know. Maybe it's like the crazy-ass technology that we have where we detect gravity waves, and it's just such an incredibly minuscule thing that it almost never happens. What's it doing? Spells. So maybe it's just... I don't know, the odds of actually catching one of these little bits of starlight are absurdly small. So the design of them has to be extremely weird for some reason that I do not comprehend. I don't know. A lot of the lore in this game, for the time being, seems completely nonsensical, so just roll with it, everyone. We'll keep on trucking, I guess. God, I'm so attractive. Cannon of Hymen. Sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't mean... Sorry, Haima. I actually tried not to say it, and I said it anyways. lobs an explosive magic projectile that flies in an arc. God. Magic in this game. It's so weird that Faith is the one that's more interesting now. Like in the past, it was like, Faith, heal someone a little bit more, kiss someone's boo-boo and tell them they're a good boy, and it was like that. And then we got lightning spears on, no, stop throwing lightning spears. Stop it. You're supposed to be healing and kissing people's boo-boos and telling them they're good boys. Stop throwing those spears. Then they nerfed them. And now it's like, no, you get like a crazy tail. You can fly for like a split second. You can, sure, throw lightning spears. Who cares? Just fucking do it. You can throw fire out of your face. There's all sorts of stuff you can do with Faith now. And sorcery now is just, you have a big sword. Like, you know your sword? Well, now it's like bigger. It's blue. Also, you can shoot a blue thing out of your staff. And also, here's this other one where you shoot smaller blue things out of your staff. And here's one where you shoot a big blob of blue things, and then it shoots smaller blue things. And here's one where instead of a big sword, it's a big hammer this time. It's so boring. They're so unimaginative. They don't do anything. Like, they might look visually impressive because particle effects, but they're just so goddamn boring. Anyways, lobs an explosive magical projectile. Blah, blah, blah. God damn it. Stop it. Drawn from the Conspectus of Hyma, the adjudicator of the Academy, this sorcery employs might as well as a means to quell conflict. Alright, that's nothing. A lot of nothing. Gavel of Hyma. Creates a magical grey hammer and slams it down. Also allows some follow-up attack. Drawn from the Scholarly Conspectus of Hyma, the adjudicator of the Academy, this sorcery employs might as a means to quell conflict. So, same exact thing. And in true tradition of sorceries across all the games, it gives us absolutely nothing to go off of other than things exist in the Magic Academy. I've complained about this in my Dark Souls 1 playthrough, but all the sorceries in that game are also like, oh, the Academy, ooh, they use magic there, wow. And they speak to nothing about the greater world. There's just nothing going on. It's incredibly dull. Okay, well, maybe this was a tower that was specifically used by Mr. Hyma for study in regards to making Seeds of Stars for some reason. Yeah, it's an okay view, I guess. Not too amazing. Not too much else to say about it. Maybe in playthrough B that I'll do 50 years from now, I will have something more to say about that because things will actually piece together in a way that makes more sense. But for the time being, nothing really to go off of, which is unfortunate for everyone. Let's see, what do I want to do next? I'll try to do the Everjails. Let's do that. Because I did that on my level 46 character. There is one thing in the lakes area that I probably don't want to do yet, though. I was running... The character that I was doing it on is the one that you saw. I actually deleted my other characters. Like, all of them are gone, except for this one and, Mr. Gaff. But I was going around doing all the jails and all the stupid death birds and shit. This one right here. This one is a special death bird that cheats like a motherfucker. Boy, did I get really tired of fighting this thing. So this one, I don't know, maybe if my balls are really tight today, really sunk into my body, and need to be lowered once or twice, maybe I'll go try the futz about with that dipshit. But I kinda doubt it. God damn, that thing's annoying. Okay, anyways, and as mentioned, I don't like being angry, but I think that as time goes on in this playthrough, that's probably going to start to be exceedingly inescapable. Okay, so there's a number of other items that I picked up along the way. Have I killed these stupid things before? Guess I can do that real fast. Now let's murder some bats for the hell of it. Because I know I remember talking about how... What are they going clockwise? Whatever, I'll sneak up and kill the big one. Oh my god! Singing sucks. Your Latin grammar is terrible. Alright, come this way, sweeties. I never quite figured out what the hell is actually in this area. You want to come this way, don't you? Yeah, you want to come this way. You really need a long weapon in this game. There's not many weapons that are, like, really good for killing these stupid bats. Stop trying to dodge. Just die for my amusement. That's your job. That's your purpose in life. The only thing you're good for. Okay. So, was there anything actually in here? Ah, there's an asshole that has glowing eyes. Give me them souls, boy. 91? Are you serious? I didn't even notice the amount of souls those things actually give you. Wow, is it that low? That's so pathetic. Because even one of these things, if your head's not on a swivel, then they can easily, like, bring your health down by at least half. So the idea that, no, here's like a spit in your mouth, enjoy, bitch, and that's your reward? It's ridiculous. So welcome to the Cucks Everjail. I'm being somewhat generous. But before that, wanted to talk about... Wait. First. There's one more thing. Up here. Remember in the ancient days, we went up here and we talked to Mr. Pedia? And then I went over on top of the building and I looked down here. Like on this little bitty ridge. And I was like, huh, that's strange. There's nothing actually down there. So I ended up forgetting about it and not going down there. But you can drop down here. And right here, at the very end, there's like a little open section of the wall that leads down to, I think, some boards. And then you go over here, then you go back up on top of the wall. And then you go this way, and eventually you'll get to an area that has like a crab. And guess what's there? Nothing special. It's it's just a crab that is guarding a single stone sword key. And also I think that on that little plank is a corpse that has a slumbering owl egg on it. And that's it. That's all that's up there. That's all I wanted to mention. Also, I never read off the description of the Red Branch Shortbow. Did I? No, I don't think I have. I farmed those pages. Those are called pages. The things that I thought were perfumers, they're actually just called pages. And apparently there's another set of page armor that will be in the capital later, because, you know, capital has everything in it. And they also drop this bow right here. Short bow of polished redwood. Where are they getting the redwood? It doesn't say. Fashioned by master craftsmen and wielded by pages. A page, if you don't know, is... I'm somewhat talking out of my ass here, but a page is someone that would serve either a noble or like a knight, or, you know, they both be the same thing, but they were basically a toady, a helper boy, but they could elevate themselves over time to raising their status and becoming nobles themselves. I think. Or they could have been exclusively servants that were from the lower class. It may also depend on the area. Historically, I don't know. But anyways, that's the general gist of what a page is. A page is just a little bitch boy that runs errands. Good for him. A bow that requires dexterity rather than strength to master. And again, all the bows kind of really suck. Like the crossbows especially. Like, notice down here on the crossbows, there's no glowing letters next to anything. And that's because none of them scale. None of them have any scaling whatsoever. It's so weird, because like the whole point of crossbows historically was that they were slightly better bows in the sense that anyone could use them. You could just pick it up and use it. Whereas if you're trying to use a bow, It's like learning to type or learning to aim an actual gun. You know, it's something that actually requires years of getting your brain to actually master the physical motion, the mental architecture required in order for your body to do something very specific with your hands. You know, knocking the bow, aiming it correctly, all this other stuff. Whereas a crossbow, you don't have to do any of that shit. Just pick it up and use it. So in the prior games, their solution to that was to make the requirements for crossbows really, really low. But for some reason, they also chose not to make them 0. Like, you still need requirements, which makes no real sense. And still no one used them because you still, like, the requirements were always, like, strength and dex, right? But if you're using any build whatsoever besides a caster build, then you were probably going to be... You would probably have enough to use a normal bow. So there's no reason to ever use a crossbow. Because they're just, in these video games anyways, they're just worse bows. So in this game, they're like, okay, well... in this one, they don't have any scaling to them, but they are innately better than bows in many cases. Which sort of works. But also, bows are also terrible because you can't change their scaling to be anything besides strength, dex, or quality. Like, you can't change what this is. They don't get ash, so you can't actually do anything to them. So if you find a bow and it's like, oh, this one's dex is high and the strength is bad, then that's what it's going to be forever. And also the scaling on the individual ones as you upgrade them is going to stay awful for all time. Like, I don't know if any of them even get to be a C, even. They may just stay Ds all the way up to plus 25. I have no idea. But the scaling is pretty much horrendous. So, a bow only run in Elden Ring seems like it would probably be not great. Probably. Could be wrong, though. Haven't really tried it. I do know that upgrading, like, this ballista, I think gives you something like 600 AR or something crazy. So it can still be good, it just requires you to, like, put every single one of your resources into it, which, why would you in a game like this where finding resources is so obscenely difficult? But whatever, I'm sure that that's incredibly fascinating to everyone. What was I talking about? Oh, the short bow. Yeah, so the short bow is there. It's great. Fantastic. I may have already read all that off, I can't quite remember. But the page stuff... Where's the page stuff? Excuse me. Goodness. Oh, I'm talking too quickly. I'm like kind of overly conscientious right now of dead air, so I'm rattling off what I'm saying. Oh, no, here it is. Yeah, hood worn by pages who serve the nobility and are mindful to keep them out of harm's way. The unassuming sack-like appearance befits their unseen and unknown stature. So just, they're very mysterious. It could be that they actually are perfumers, and they are quote-unquote pages, and that's supposed to be some sort of secret. I have no idea. I don't know. Page garb. Garb worn by pages who serve the nobility, manufacturing, traveling wear tailor with exquisite precision to avoid any undue shame for the page's master. So, it's nothing. Just, again, there's really nothing to go off of there. So that's that. Something I never did was I never read the Auburnark ashes. If I can find them. Horde little frogmen. Where are you, horde little frogmen? There you are. Ashen remains turns to draw. A strapping duo of cartwheeling spirits who wield ripple swords and spew freezing breath. Both are second-generation Auburnarks, then that's where we get the term second generation, with dumpy heads that resemble those of frogs. So we still really don't know what's going on with the Auburnarks. I got the impression that the Academy themselves were creating them in some fashion, although I can't remember why. There's a lot of different item descriptions that relate to Auburnarks and the ancient astrologers and how they came from the mountains and became sorcerers and all this other stuff, but I can't remember what was what in that regard, so just something to remember is that they were created and they are weird, and that the frog ones are second generation, and I guess the ones that we run into before that are losing their legs are first generation. What they were being made for, what their purpose was, why they are suddenly antagonistic towards everyone, and the sorcerer specifically, I don't know. The game just is not really giving us that much to go off of right now. Although I'm sure someone in the comments section that has beaten the game 5 times and has watched everyone's lore videos on, actually, the printing go up, you pay attention, stupid fuck. I'm sure that, yeah, I'm certain that there's probably something, just it takes a while to get it all pieced together when you're completely alone and you're not allowed to proceed through most of the game yet. Anyways, that is complete. Something I do need to mention, though, is I never looked at the Renala Soul and all its little goodies. Where will that be? Key items? No, it would be unusable items, probably. Yeah. Because you can, like, actually crush it in your hand. Crush her pretty little soul. I should go up to Ronnie and just crush it right in front of her face. Still love me, baby? Remembrance of the Renala, Queen of Full Moon, hewn into the Erd Tree. I mean, like, I'm carrying it around in my hand, so it doesn't really seem to be hewn into the Erd Tree, but whatever. I guess maybe there's another thing hewn into the Erd Tree somewhere else. The power of its namesake can be unlocked by a finger reader. I remember that. In her youth, Renala was a prominent champion who charmed the Academy with her lunar magic, becoming its master. She also led the Glintstone Knights and established the House of Caria as royalty. Okay. So according to this, the House of Caria existed, but they weren't royalty at the time? Which I think might conflict with another item description that I don't remember. The problem with this game for me right now is that my memory is bad, and I need a lot of it right in front of my face. And a lot of things are mentioning a lot of things, but none of it is being too useful. Anyways, I hope you can sense my frustration of that, but she led the Glintstone Knights and established the House of Caria as royalty. Okay, great. That's who she is. She's Lady. That is complete. Once we get back to the round table, I will go look at I'll go talk to the nasty lady and the nasty hand, and we will talk about the weapons that I probably will not use because they'll probably be dirty int weapons. But for now, let's go into the Everjail for a cuck and see what's going on in here. If I remember correctly, this is a big man. Big man. Big man on contest. Balls. His name is actually Balls. Will you stop it? For God's sakes. Yeah, okay. Fighting these big guys is actually sort of a problem. What are you doing? Oh, he used... That's... Yeah, because you can't actually see what he's doing. It's one of these, It's one of these FromSoft enemies. They've gotten really fond of giant enemies because they're so big and so strong. But the problem with giant enemies is that you can't actually see them because you end up fighting the camera more than you actually end up fighting them. But they never learn their lesson. That's sort of Elden Ring in a nutshell for me. Elden Ring is a game of them wanting to do things, but them not being good ideas. But they just do it anyways. Brick Blade Phalanx. Alright. Have to wait for it to kick me out, though. So that's done. Not a big deal. Honestly, the Lemgrave Everjails seem way more dangerous than the ones that are here in the lakes for some reason. I'm not really sure why, just they are. Okay. Great Blake Phalanx. Great Blake Phalang. One of the sorceries of the Carrion Royal family creates a defensive arc of larger magic glint blades overhead, which automatically attack nearby foes. They sure do. Used by the enchanted troll knights. Oh, they're enchanted too. Enchanting as well. Excuse me. They were the comrades of the young Renala, bound by oath. Now, we still really don't know who Renala is, actually. We quote-unquote meet Renala earlier, but then she's like, no, I'm actually Ranni the Witch. So, as I mentioned before, Renala is either another sister that she used to have, or it is her alias, Ranni's alias, or it is what Ranni used to be before she became a doll, and then after she destroyed her own body in the Night of Black Knives, she took the new title of Ranni, and so Renala just doesn't exist anymore in that sense. Or it could be some other thing that I had in my head that I now forgot, because that's how my brain works. Sister. No, I guess that's it. I don't know. There's probably some other thing that I'm not thinking of. Anyways, that's it. What an amazing battle. So that is complete. Now let's move down here. What's the fastest way? Yeah, I'll just start here. It's been a while since I've seen patches. We'll do it this way. Oh. I look forward to having the lakes area done. I'm kind of sick and tired of looking at it. Hello, Patches. Thinking about that Iron Virgin. Not gonna do it yet, though. I'm thinking about it, though. Okay, where the hell am I going, though? Wrong direction. Yes. Okay. One of my minor map complaints is that there is no actual point to warp to that is on this ridge. Which isn't really a big deal because there's nothing up there, but it'd still be nice just to have it. Which is funny because there's so many areas in this game that have way too many points of grace to warp to that just there's no reason to have them. And there, in many cases, there are some that are just piled together in a big pile. Like even right here, there's like these two that are just right next to each other. And sure, one of them is at the beginning of the cave and the other one's at the end of the cave. But do you really need to have a point of grace right here? And you may say, well, yes, because you need to be able to get the NPC easily. But you're only there once. And even if you forget her, you know how you could actually solve this problem? You could solve this problem by having a ladder or a wall that you break down or something as a shortcut that leads right like this instead of being here on the coastline. Could have easily been like up top here, or the map could have been slightly different so the coastline is like right here next to the meeting point of the lake. But point being is that you could have done this level, the Lakeside Crystal Cave, wrapped back around, and then been like, oh, here's a ladder I can lower, and then that would have been it. Then you could use the same bonfire. Like, this is one of the things about Elden Ring they've kind of lost since Dark Souls 1. Like, as the games have gone on, they've kind of lost the whole shortcut porn that people loved about Dark Souls 1. It wasn't really much of a thing in Demons, because Demons was a Mega Man sort of game where you're just going through levels and then teleporting out. And I know that it's hard to make levels that join together like that, but, I don't know, like, try. You could try, instead of not trying. That would be cool. Like, even here, like up here, at this Everjail. We'll get up here to this Everjail. And if you look down here, Malefactor's Everjail. If you look down here, there are tombstones that lead down here. How about instead of a tombstone, there's just a ladder? And you get down, because you can't go up, actually you can. I did do this once. You can if you very, very awkwardly do it. you can sort of almost halfway glitch your way up these things and make it up there this way, but considering you can just go around and it takes like less time, there's no point to doing it. But there could be, you know, a ladder here. There's no reason for there not to be. And then that becomes a shortcut. It's really, really useful, and it's fun. Why have you stopped doing that, FromSoft? I'm gonna have to remember that item. I completely forgot about it, though. So you can end up using this this one point for multiple locations. That was one of the things I always liked about Dark Souls 1, and to a certain degree Dark Souls 2. 2 sort of does it. 3 half-heartedly tries to do it in 1 or 2 places. Like, remember how you beat Dancer in 3? And then you go up the ladder, right? And you can turn left, and then there's the optional area with the Screaming Dragon Man, who makes no sense. Or you can go forward and then take a right, then you take another right, and then there is another bonfire, and there you can knock down a ladder, even though it's a ladder that you will never, ever, ever use for really any reason, other than you don't feel like climbing the ladder from Dancer's room up to the top and then taking a left. That's like the one time you would ever use it. 3 does it a lot, where it might technically have a shortcut, but you won't use it, or it serves no practical purpose, or it's just kind of stupid. I don't know, they've been getting really shitty about it. I don't know what's going on. Get out of here, sir. I'm trying to do a thing. Okay. Anyways. This is the Malefactor's Everjail. Yes, Malefactor's Everjail. Let me actually get rid of... always do that. And get rid of you. This is the dragon. I can't remember what this is. And I've already killed that other death bird that was down here. That might be an actual... And this is the Knight's Calvary. And that is one of the boater guys. The motorboat men. Okay, so there's always more to do. Anyways, let's enter this Everjail and fight a really tough enemy. I like this one. I really like this one. Adden, Thief of Fire. So he's just a guy in what looks like smoke armor or something. And he just has a basic bitch flail. And then he RP walks towards you. And he doesn't have much of a health bar either. He's a very strange enemy. You can heal. It's okay, buddy. Poor man. Yeah, but I guess he's sort of a joke boss. I'm not really sure what the logic is. But it's almost refreshing. Especially if you've been deep... like... I actually fought this guy, I think, oh no, I took one single hit, I lost. I think I fought him after doing that stupid death bird I was complaining about, that you guys haven't seen yet. On my Gath character, who is a pure strength character. So that's part of the reason why it's such a problem. Flame of the Fell God. Something I can actually use! So after doing that, it's like, oh, thank God. Like an easy joke boss. I might actually enjoy myself. That guy might be more of a problem if you are foolishly trying to use, like, short swords or something. You know, like a real weapon. Like, half of the weapons in this game. You know, ones that can't stagger at all. Which, let's be frank, most of the enemies in this game are not going to stagger either way. But still, if you're using something that small, then he might be able to power through your attacks. I don't know. So that he might be a problem then? I'm not really sure. I'll take this opportunity to also point out that these gross little things that look like a turd that comes out of a cat's butt sometimes when it's not healthy. Yeah, they also have little eyes on the tip, of course. And the fact that they all are sitting around looking at the jail seems to be something. Whenever you kill these things, what do they drop? They drop ruin fragments. So even these little ball guys seem to be made out of the ruins that fall from the sky. Now whether or not they... Ooh, there it goes. Whether or not they actually came from the ruins in the sky, I don't know. It could be that sorcerers were using them to make these little dudes, which to me seems more reasonable. But it is possible that they also are things that fell out of the sky. If they were things that were... If these things were made by whatever civilization used to exist up there, then that would mean that these jails, most likely, if these guys actually are like jailers or something, that are either watching the area or helping to seal it, that would mean that these jails have not only existed for a long time, but the people that are in them have also existed for a long time. Don't know. But it seems more reasonable to me to say that sorcerers just used ruin fragments as a component to make those things, so that they could put political prisoners in there. Okay, let me see what this is. It's just another twig. I never use these things. Okay. Alright, let me look at my new fire thing that I got. Summons a raging fireball that explodes and sits there in a blaze. Alright. This legendary incantation is one of several that draws directly from the power of the fire giants. It draws from the power of the fire giants. Oh, I kind of wish that the lore in these games would streamline itself a little bit more. There's just too many sources of strength in this world. Because some of it comes from the stars, some of it comes from some sort of life essence that flows from the stars and maybe into the earth itself, which also acts as a stream. Then there's the life source that's actually inside of the planet. Then there's like life that is inside of individual people, and then there's the Erd tree itself, which might also be the source of life for everything else, and then apparently there's also power from the fire giants. Where do the fire giants get it from? Are the fire giants drawing their life from the Erd tree as well? Do they get it from magic? Just there's too much shit going on. Releases a ball of raging fire said to be inhabited by a fell god. The ball of raging fire itself is being inhabited like it's a little house for a fell god. Whatever. The fireball floats towards enemies and explodes, setting the area ablaze. If you say so. Organthe, the chief guardian of the flame, capitalized, who kept this incantation a well-kept secret until it was stolen by Adon. The fell god still lurks within the fire giants. If you say so, buddy. If you say so. Okay, so there's even more bullshit. Just... fire giants exist, whatever fire giants are. There is a fell god, whatever a fell god is. And it apparently lurks within fire giants. So I guess fire giants also are powered by these balls of fire? And there also used to be a guy named Organthe who guarded the flame, even though the flame also apparently is something that composes the fire giants themselves, and the fell god lives inside the fire giants. Like, you guys see what I mean? But it's moved well past, like, Dark Souls 1, it's just like, sure, there's 4 different kinds of Lord Souls, but they represent life as a total thing, right? Where does the chaos come from? It comes from the witches. Why does it come from witches? Because they were the ones in charge of life, and they tried to fuck with it, and now it's chaos. That's it. Where skeletons come from? The death one. The one that's a big skeleton. Okay? Now there's also necromancers around, so that's a little bit more confusing. Like, what are the necromancers? They're probably humans that are trying to steal it. Well, okay. But this... I'm kind of getting tired of all this. It's getting too complicated. Is a fell god... Has the game even talked about what gods are yet? Like, if Marika is a god, and all her children are demigods... Actually, she may not be a god either, I have no idea. She could also be another demigod. The game hasn't really said. I don't know. Fuck it. I don't care. I really don't care. I'm getting kind of apathetic towards the whole thing. Okay, well that's that. Round table, I want to do round table next. Because I want to talk about those stupid weapons. Like, that's kind of the danger of doing this LP for me, is... For the most part, I'm kind of enjoying the game, for the most part. But as the game goes on, it becomes less enjoyable because... Modern Miyazaki... Remember how Miyazaki had this quote early on? It was like in Demons and Dark. I think it was post-Dark 1. Where he said... Difficulty was never the point of the games. I would never want to waste the player's time. And it was something like that. I can't remember what the whole quote exactly was. But he said that. Like, Miyazaki, makers... The head creator of FromSoft titles, such as Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, Sekiro, and Elden Ring, actually said that. Can you think of a game that wastes the player's time with artificial difficulty more than modern FromSoft games? Like, obviously, something went wrong with him. I don't know what's going on anymore, but difficulty is the point of these games. He quote-unquote fell for the meme. That's the way I'll put it. And the meme was the Prepare to Die marketing campaign. And ever since then, he's become more and more obsessed with the idea of trying to make the games hard to provide quote-unquote content. And as Elden Ring goes on, I feel that more and more, where the content becomes less and less fair. And as I mentioned before, the main reason why I don't like that is because this part of my personality. I don't like unfairness just because of... I've already been over that in the last part. But anyway, just as the game goes on, I feel that more and more and more, where he's just trying his best to make sure that the only way to get through these things is to rely on your own form of cheating. Which makes a lot of the encounters feel really unsatisfying to me. Because if you go into the boss, and the answer to the boss is not, like, watch for your opening and then get in your, like, 2 or 3 combos before you have to go back out to avoid being hit, like, you know, in Dark Souls 1. And now it's more roll, get in your 1 hit, roll, and reset. Now it's more like in parts of Elden Ring here, like Dark Souls 3, that was the problem, is... Sure, you could beat something without getting hit, but it just came down to getting in your 1 hit and doing everything, like, perfectly. Now it's like, no, you are going to take damage. And I have seen people do no-hit runs, but a lot of those do revolve around exploits and very, very, very particular alignment of hitboxes in very particular ways that are almost like speedrunning tech more than they are actually playing the game. So Elden Ring is a game in which you are designed to take damage. Like, they really want you to. And obviously you can eventually get to the point where you don't take any damage if you're a speedrunner, but that's not what the intention is in the design. Anyways, just, yeah, as time goes on, Elden Ring kind of just has been wearing on me more and more in that regard. But anyways, not to complain too much about it now, because there will be much more about that to complain about in the future, but I'm sure that you guys know that more than I do.
I had my doubts. But
Did I ever talk to her after this?
look at you. Only once before have I seen 2 great runes
When?
together.
Oh, she's not going to say when. Gotta be mysterious.
Fingers shudder
Oh,
when
they're
they
quick. They're
feel
oozing their goo.
Fine work, brave tarnished. The greater will.
Who's the greater will?
Pleased. You have earned the right to become.
What is the Elden Lord?
Now, seek the Erd Tree and an audience with Queen.
Is Queen Marika still alive?
To become Elden Lord and restore the Golden Order. The fingers expect as much from you as they do young Gideon. Take this.
Young Gideon.
A token of farewell.
Oh, a new talisman. Oh boy, now it can become even more overpowered with numerical increases that do not define me as a character. Get the fuck out.
Go forth.
Go do what we tell you to do.
Become Elden Lord.
Stop thinking about what you're doing and just do it. I'm thinking, and I'm tapping my controller, sorry. Miyazaki is repeating himself a lot. He always does, but in all the games, the whole bit is the characters tell you to go do something because video games, so you just do it, you don't have a choice. And then you'll clear the game once, get a quote-unquote bad ending, or one in which you don't really understand why you got it. Then you play the game again, and you're like, okay, I get it. So there's a bit more of a choice, right? And this one, you're just doing the same thing over again. The characters are telling, go, become Elden Lord, become the video game master. And yeah, you presumably go through the game, pick up all the items, don't read any of the descriptions, and then you get to the end, and you'll probably get set on fire, or you'll sit inside of a chair, or some other dumb shit that no one cares about. And unless you're wearing some stupid meme outfit, like in Dark Souls 2. Oh, look at my character, he's so stupid when he sits on the throne. Yeah, we've all seen it. It's not funny. And after that, then you play the game again, and then you are like, oh, okay, it makes a little bit more sense. To me, the distinction of why that's not really working for me anymore is because I don't care about anything that's happening in Elden Ring. I think a lot of it is that a lot of the characters in... Like, I hate to harp on Dark Souls 1, because Dark Souls 1 has lots of problems. It is not a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. But the thing I liked about it is that a lot of the characters in Dark Souls 1 were people that I actually cared about. Like, I really liked Sigmire. I really liked Laurentius. Even characters like, oh, what the hell's her name? But the witch. The witch that teaches you the spells. Can't remember. There's so many that have such similar names that I get them all confused. But even her, like, she does seem very nice, and she seems to lament what happened to her family. And that's the thing about Dark Souls 1, is that I cared about a lot of the characters and what they were saying, and why they were doing the things that they were doing. And the lore was less about... There are weird space things that control all of our actions, and they're so mysterious, and also there's a golden seed that floats in the hearts of all men. Like, I don't give a shit about that. It's... Who cares? It doesn't matter. But in, like, Dark Souls 1, even the core lore was like, no, the Dark Soul is actually humanity itself. And if you look at what human nature is and how we behave towards one another, that's the thing that's influencing why the world is the way that it is. So even the core logic of the setting, that shouldn't really matter, you know, who cares, does end up wrapping back around it and still being about character. And that's the thing that involves you in the plot of anything. It's always going to come back to self-involvement, the things that you can project onto the characters, onto the world itself. So the more that the way that your world works, that relates to why people in that world are the way that they are, which in turn also relates to how humans in our world are the way that they are, then the more successful that world is going to be. And you could even say the same thing about, like, Tolkien, like his world. A lot of it is kind of alien in the sense of there are weird angelic creatures that don't act like people and all this other stuff. But even stuff like the ring itself, you know, the Ring of Power, does relate to amplifying the traits that are found within everyone, to the point that the only people that could actually get the ring to a place where it could be destroyed were hobbits, because they were just such simple folk with almost no, like, human desires. But even they end up becoming corrupted. So even that has something to do with human nature and, like, what you are as the reader. Whereas with Elden Ring here, we have these stupid fucking fingers, and that goddamn tree, and apparently like gods that are living in space or something, I don't know, and a greater will, whatever that is. And I don't care. It doesn't matter, because none of it relates to people at all. It's just nonsense. Now, that might change over time, I really hope. But for the time being, there's just nothing they go off of. The most connection I have is like Ranni, for example, because she obviously cares about her mother, and she tries to protect her, but she also hates what the gods are in her own way, and is trying to do something that might fix that or something. It's not clear. But, like, that relates to, like, character development, and that relates to human nature. No, it's the weapons, that's what I was thinking of. But yeah, that's kind of my general problem with Elden Ring lore so far. It's that just so much of it is just pretentious twattery. It doesn't actually have anything to do with you as a person. Oh, you came back, even though I told you to go do shit. What do you want? Equipment of champions or powerful remembrance. Let me check. Okay, what is your shit? What is your shit? Rennala. Carrion Regal Scepter. Magic Scepter of Rennala, Queen of the Full Moon. The glintstone is known as a Carrion Blue, enhancing full moon sorceries. Well, that's fantastic. I don't care. Only those of the highest intelligence may wield this. If I don't care. I don't fucking care. Rennala's Full Moon. Sorcery associated with Carrion Queen. Uses the caster as a vessel to incarnate a full moon, grape, then sends it floating towards foes. This is a hilarious looking sorcery. It unfortunately is exceedingly easy to parry, and I've seen a lot of people get themselves killed trying to use it in PvP. The full moon dispels all sorcery that touches it and temporarily reduces magic damage to gauge Rennala's strength. Queen Rennala encountered this enchanting moon when she was young. Like, the... What? What do you mean she encountered this enchanting moon? Like she was out for a stroll and she just saw a moon floating in the midair? And later it would bewitch the academy. Okay, alright, great. So I guess maybe the idea is that she did not learn this sorcery? Like, she didn't invent this sorcery, she just found it somewhere else? Or... I don't know... Maybe this represents a god or something? I don't know. Elden Ring, you gotta give me more to go off of. Like, I know vagary is one thing, but you've gotten to where it's so vague that it just takes so long to piece things together now. Like before, it was like reading a book where some of the words were erased. Now it's like reading a book, except each individual sentence has words that have been moved like 300 pages in opposite directions. So you can piece it together, it just takes so long. Anyways, here's her stuff. We stripped her body naked. And now I get to have her silly little swan hat. A tall crown depicting the moon. No, it doesn't. It does not depict the moon whatsoever, but let's just say that it does. And Christian Helena, when Rennala, head of both the Academy of Relicaria and the Rennala family, lost her husband Radagon, her heart went along with him. For some reason. And then those... When Rennala, head of both the Academy of Relicaria and the Carrion royal family, lost her husband Radagon... Like, she didn't lose her husband. He supposedly divorced her in order to marry his mother, from what I understand. Or something. Her heart went along with him. Like, just her heart? She seems to have lost her fucking mind. So did she not just lose her mind as well? Was it really just her heart? Also, and then those at the Academy realize that Rennala was no champion after all. Why? Why would they realize that? So the Academy, after Radagon divorced her, was like, fuck this lady. For some reason... I don't know. It's probably more shit that'll be revealed 500 hours from now. That Rennala was no champion after all, if you say so. Even though she apparently revolutionized everything about the entire lakes area, and originally fought him to a standstill, even without his help. But no, whenever they divorced, well, fuck that shit. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with their dumb belief system. Because whenever we were at Turtle Pope's room. Turtle Pope's room. The whole idea was that whenever they were united, it was supposed to be symbolic of how all the sins of the past were being let go and all this other stuff. So maybe the fact that, like, how could, if they divorce, then obviously both of them are in the wrong. And if it's not true that their union was truly holy, then maybe that's the idea. That there can't be any truth to any of their words whatsoever, and maybe that's why they turned on her? Which, you would have to be pretty fucking crazy, especially considering that the sorcerers themselves seem to be, like, scientists in their own weird way. So why would they take something so emotionally and radically, based in superstition? But then again, they're like crazy wizards. I don't know. There's nothing to go off of yet. I don't have enough information. As far as I can tell anything. I'm sure that... No, you actually do. I'm sure I do. I'm sure I do. Alright. Can I just buy this garbage already? Wow, that's expensive. Fuck that. Not even gonna bother. I'll do it later. Yeah, I'll let the words of the fingers guide me. I'm really excited about that, clearly. Alright, I need to go find Alexander before I do anything else. Then I'll do the cavern shit. He may not even be here. I don't know. What's the easiest way over there? I'll just ride. Yeah, I'll just go from here, I guess. Okay. Something else I wanted to mention, though, is off-screen, because I was looking up weapons for Mr. Gath, my strength user, to use. One of them was the Executioner's Great Axe. And the Executioner's Great Axe is dropped by a very, 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 very specific skeleton enemy that uses it. Even though it's a skeleton, it has shit tons of poise. And there are almost none of them in the game. And the only one that I actually know of is right here. You, like, take the lake-facing cliffs path, you ride all the way down this road, you take this path up here, and then there's like a little tombstone that has like a rune arc, or it's some shit like that. And there are a couple skeletons that have been hung. Like they were... We also saw that down here in Limgrave. If you pass under this bridge, there's also like skeletons that were hung here. Which I guess may signify if those are ones that linger in death, or whatever it's called. Maybe they were being punished for that. Or that was their way of dealing with them. That if they were hung there, technically still alive that whole time, then they would just stay there dead forever, even though they can clearly fall down whenever they want to. I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, there's a Great Axe wielding skeleton. I killed him like 50 or something times. I finally got his stupid drop, which unfortunately I can't even use. If I can find it real fast, it will have, I'm sure, a very useful item description. Executioner's Great Axe, bolty cleaver welded to a long haft, said they had been used to dispatch the remnants of defeated armies, felling them like timber. Great. Perhaps that is the reason it excels at critical hits. So it's another example of an Elden Ring item description that gives you absolutely nothing. So this is an axe that was used to dispatch the remnants of defeated armies. So even though we already have characters that do that, which are the battlefield surgeons, or whatever they're called, that are actually assassins, we have another such enemy that wanders around with a great axe, dispatching enemies from defeated armies. Maybe they were the same thing. Maybe the skeleton guys used to be servants of Moog or something. I don't know. I kind of doubt it, considering that this item description is such nothing that it makes me believe that it's probably just an afterthought, but maybe. Sincerely doubt it. Let's go. Let's just go. I'm actually... I hate being this way. I know you guys hate listening to it. I hate being this way, too. But it's just my personality that I only complain about things if I actually care about them and I want them to be better. If it's something I don't care about, I don't talk about it. Like, you don't hear me talk about Big Bang Theory or whatever, because why would I fucking care? Who gives a shit? Let that pile of trash rot forever in history's garbage bin. But if it's something like, oh, this could be improved, we could take this idea, we could shift it around, and it could be this other thing. Like, even if it's something that like, oh yeah, I love everything about this, I might still talk about it, because I'm like, well, you could also take these ideas and make them into this other idea. And I figured he'd see me. Okay, no, we're not doing this. You want to start shit? Alright. What, you're actually stopping the fight? Yeah, we're stopping the fight. You wanted this? You wanted this? No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't hurt me. No. I tried to avoid you. You acted like a little bitch. Because you're so big. You started shit, and now you're dead. Hope you learned your lesson. Oh wait, he's dead. He can't learn his lesson. Alright, yeah, I don't really complain about things unless I actually care about them. So whenever I'm like relentlessly bitching about something, I can't quite remember where this thing is. It's not actually right there. Yeah, here. It's down here. So whenever I'm relentlessly bitching about something, what you're actually hearing is me, like, actually wanting something to be better. Or just being frustrated with not being able to engage with it. Like Elden Ring, it may piece itself together in the end, but until then, it is very, very frustrating. Whee! That's right down here. That's what it is. I can never quite remember. Let me look at my map. Wow, that's nowhere near here! So even though that looks like a cave, that is not a cave. Oh, that's the entrance. Yeah. So it's actually like right here. Wow. Okay. Well, lesson learned. But this is where Alexander is going to be. Or he should be. It could be that you have to go here immediately. Stop crouching, fool. By the way, I've mentioned this before, but for those of you that are like, wow, jumping on your stick, who would do that? I know, right? You know what it should be? It should be what every other game in existence is, and it should just be fucking running. Like mashing your stick to run. Because that doesn't even work until like a second of you walking anyways. And if you're accidentally mashing the stick, guess what? It wouldn't have any effect on the game. Because if you're like, oops, I'm in the middle of a fight, I accidentally pressed in the stick. If it's assigned to run, because it takes like a second for it to kick in anyways, nothing happens. Nothing accidental happens. But if you're using the default controls and you accidentally mash in the stick whenever you're fighting something, then you crouch like a fool. Which to me is way higher risk than jumping, because jumping actually doesn't give you iframes, it like shuts off the hitbox of your entire body except for your arms and your head. Like, it gives you a pretty obscene amount of invulnerability in that way. So it's somewhat safe. But unfortunately, because Japanese developers, B does like a shit ton of things, like it backsteps, it runs, allows you to like sprint roll. I think there's like one other thing I can't quite remember. But since in the system you can't actually, in your button settings, dodge, roll, dash, backstep, yeah. In your settings, you can't be like, okay, stick, that gets dash. And then, like, what it should be is, if you hold down B, if you just hold it down, then that would make you crouch. But if you just press it, you know, backstep. Or roll, for that matter. That's what I was not thinking. The most famous thing it does, roll. But yeah, just backstep, roll, hold it down. If you hold it down, then you crouch. Because why would you be holding it down? Like, if you're trying to roll, you would be mashing it, right? And if you're trying to backstep, you would be mashing it. You would not be holding it in any circumstance. So there's no overlap there where you can accidentally do anything unless you're just like a 1 in a million player that is crazy like I am. And like, oh yeah, whenever I'm trying to roll, sometimes I'll just hold the button down for some reason. Then yes, that would affect you. But point being is that if you could actually assign all those things to individual commands, like a real video game would, instead of a FromSoft title because they're crazy, then you wouldn't have that problem. And then mashing this stick would not make me jump. Wouldn't that be great? It's one of those... Damn it, I made another spike in my audio. God damn it. But wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be great if FromSoft just listened to common sense approaches to design instead of just doing things in a very isolated environment? Wouldn't that be amazing? There he is! There's our boy! He's actually here! See, on Gath, whenever I got here, he wasn't in this location, which had me worried. But yes, he is still here, thank goodness. Which means we get his complete... It's useless dialogue, but it's a scene, it's content. Hello, chicken leg man. Alright. Give us what you got, Alexander. He's so poopy looking. Because he's rolling around in dirt all the time, nasty boy.
Ah, I hadn't expected to see your face again. Are you heading to the Festival of Combat too?
I sure am, Sigmire number 3.
No need to be coy with me. Judging by the fine wallop you gave the old
Yeah, spanked
backside
him.
earlier, I would venture you're something
Hell
of a
yeah.
warrior yourself. The mere thought of such a festival gets the blood pumping, eh? Now, according to my calculations, passing through this road should lead us to the Kaled Wilds. But, however you slice it, it seems we've reached a dead end. I'm sorry to have raised your hopes. It seems my calculations must have been off.
So, this is... I'm guessing they're just doing the whole Sigmire joke thing again. That's another FromSoft thing. It's a Japanese thing, especially. Where they just keep repeating the same stories over and over again, because Asian storytelling, you just gotta keep doing the same thing for the rest of eternity, even though it gets really boring. I don't have a high opinion of that approach to storytelling, if you can't tell. But presumably he would have had to take this road, which leads directly over in the Kaled, like instantly. So how exactly he got sidetracked into... I guess he was like... He went from Summonwater Village and he didn't see the road, and he started going down here, and ended up in the cave? I don't know. I have no idea. But it's just that joke again. He doesn't know where he is. What a silly boy. And that's it. That's all that's really going on here. Whenever I first started playing... Of course, the game's been out for like weeks now. But whenever I first started playing on like day 1, I really got the impression that there was no such thing as a festival. And that was the whole point of his character, is that he was being misled, or he was under some delusion that... like in the ancient past, for example, when things were not so shitty, then there used to be a grand festival that was held, and he was operating under the delusion that things were still good. And I think I even mentioned that like part 1 or part 2. But of course, now everyone knows, yeah, there is actually a festival. So he actually is trying to get to a festival. So, that whole element to his character really doesn't go anywhere, exactly. And even though he is sort of doing the same thing that Sigmire was, in the sense of, oh, gate's still closed, and you have to help him through. If you start the festival, then he does leave this area, and this door remains locked. And he gets there anyways, so he's at least more capable than Sigmire in that respect, that he will just leave. He eventually gets tired of waiting, and will go seek out another solution. But he's still a silly jar man, I suppose. Also, this is, of course, not openable from this side. But perhaps more importantly, he is a gigantic jar. So, after you open this for him, he will go through. And of course you don't get to see that happen, but he does manage to get through this area, and moves on, thanks to you. So how exactly does this giant jar get through this door, without shattering everything around it? The answer may surprise you, but the answer is, shut up. Again. And Elden Ring keeps doing this. It has dissonance with its environmental storytelling. And it doesn't seem to want to stop doing that. But oh well.
I was created to be a warrior
Uh-huh.
vessel. Many great warriors reside within me, ever dreaming of becoming a
Gross.
great champion. It's my destiny, and the reason for which I quest. It is my ordeal, you could say. To test myself, to better myself, to fell ever greater foes. And then, one day, we'll be a single great champion. The greatest of them all. What do you think, eh? How do you rate my chances?
Okay, so that's his actual ambition. Is he wants to be a great champion because he is apparently a bunch of different people whose, I guess their corpses or their souls, it's kind of unclear in that respect, have all been put inside of this jar and then magically created. And of course we saw tons of jars in the actual academy itself. And some of them were kind of in a secret location, I guess, so I don't know how common it is, but we also saw some of them just kind of running around. And we also saw some of them in Stormvale, kind of near the left side chamber, in between that and the secluded cell. So what exactly is going on with these guys, I'm not quite sure. They seem to just be, I don't know, they're not like hired hands, but they seem to be warriors that are made specifically to be disposable units that use up the corpses of maybe even defeated enemies. I have no idea. But they end up getting their own individual personalities in some way. Alexander says he was made to be a warrior. But the ones in Jartown, including Jar Bairn, like that one seems to be a little kid or something. So maybe they're made with different purposes in mind? Whether or not the little kid pots, do they grow up? Do their pots grow? Do they have to get transplanted into bigger pots like snails? Or hermit crabs? I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Elden Ring does not... We're not at the point where Elden Ring is willing to explain anything, and it is so frustrating to me. Anyways...
I was created
You're a warrior vessel.
to be a warrior. Many
Yes,
great
I
warriors
can cast
reside.
friend
It is
opposed.
my-
Great song. How do you rate my
What do you
chances? Okay.
think?
So that's all he says. I'm glad that I was allowed to show you. But that is what Alexander is all about. He's a bunch of dudes in a jar that has one dude personality, and that dude personality is like, dude, I'm going to be the very best that there ever was. And that's it. Alright, that is complete. Okay. Let me check my thing. Yes. I never actually looked at the dumb rune that I got. Where the hell is that? No, it's going to be... That's not going to be here either. No. Here. Probably here somewhere. No? Did I miss it? Oh, yeah, here it is. The Great Rune of the Unborn. Used to perfect rebirth. And this one is a Q, except it's sticking straight up in the air because it's so excited. Great Rune of the Unborn. Amber Egg. It just says, are you carrying it with you? Then why does she have it? Why are you like this, Elden Ring? Why are you like this? Great Rune of the Unborn. So you're not carrying around the rune itself, which itself doesn't make sense. They're like little lines of light. How are you carrying them? It describes it as being an amber egg clutched by Renala, Queen of the Full Moon. Even though she still has it, you also have it, I guess. Perfects those who have been born anew. I don't understand. Children born anew by Renala are all frail and short-lived, imperfect beings each and all. So, is it saying that... Is it saying that Renala herself has the ability to rebirth people, but without the rune itself, then they are always imperfect? And now I have the Great Rune of the Unborn, which will allow me to make people, if I had the ability to do so, then I could also make... It perfects those who have been born anew. It would allow me to perfect myself? Maybe that's the reason why you can't use it until... I don't know. I don't know. I get the feeling this game was not translated well either, which is probably part of its problems. There's probably tons of things in this game that are just very badly translated. So maybe the idea is that it came from the Amber Egg? Or is associated with the Amber Egg? Like, looking at the fucking picture, it's clearly not the Amber Egg, and looking at the world that I inhabit, she clearly is still holding the goddamn thing, so why are you describing it as being an Amber Egg? It isn't. Why are you like this, Elden Ring? Why do you make my life such misery? I never actually activated this thing. The first one I activated at the Divine Tower Limgrave over here. I think this is the Divine Tower. Oh, wait. No, that's Study Hall. But this looks like a Divine Tower, so maybe I have to activate the Great Rune here? Although if I remember correctly, I actually cleared this area, and there's nothing for me to do there anymore. Unless there's something that I missed. Well, maybe I'll worry about that in a bit. Hold on. Let me think. That's right. Got to do those two areas first. Let's do those first. Get those out of the way. Let's go to Stillwater Cave first. Get that out of the way. Then I'll do Cliff Bottom Caverns, and then I will hopefully be done. Which one's this? Can't remember. This better not be the toxic one with all the... It's the one toxic one with all the fucking plants. Yeah, I've already done that. Okay. Yep, it's one of the ones I hate. It's not a problem, it's just very, very annoying. Good, I can kill those in one hit. I hope I can kill these stupid plant things in one hit. I really hate these guys. Oh, fuck off! Go through the trouble... Ugh! That's one of the reasons why I hate this area. And here comes the other reasons why I hate this area. Because they stagger this shit, and then you can't do anything. Aha! Did anyways. Bastards. Hate it whenever they do that. Place two enemies standing in the same location. Can you get past it? Yeah, I can, just barely. Yeah, I know. Get the feeling Miyazaki, like, he doesn't actually spend much of his day working. He just logs into, like, the death counter, and then in real time just watches everyone dying and seeing the population. Like, oh, this is the part where I put that shitty thing. Haha, I knew they'd die here. I'm getting close, and it's just that all day long. Like, he does seem to have some sort of abuse fetish of some sort. I have no idea what's going on with that man. It is something, though. He's got something going on. Can't convince me otherwise. Oh, cool. Look at him. Hit him from the, hit him from the spike. Look at him go. Oh, I missed him. Oh, God damn it. Fucking bastard. Here I am trying to have... Oh, no, it's Elden Ring, remember? Yeah, I remember. Here, have some poison. Remember how shitty the game... Yeah, I remember how shitty the game is. Thank you. Here I was actually trying to enjoy myself. I almost had fun for like a split... No! Poison! I'm shitty! Shitty Elden Ring! Shitty Elden Ring! Yeah, I get it. I get it. Jesus Christ. Every single fucking day with this game. Anyways, it allows me to actually get this. Sage Hood, blah, blah, blah. Without having to demonstrate this, but... Here's another shitty oversight of this game. or I don't know if it's an oversight or what, but the easiest way of getting this is to walk here, pick it up, and then backstep, because backstepping allows you to get through this muck faster. Actually, here we go. It allows me to get through this muck faster, and also there's something about the... There's something about the nature of the frames where it does not detect that you're actually inside of that environment, so you don't get build-up whenever you're backstepping. Which makes no sense, but FromSoft, it's another FromSoftism. They're just way too preoccupied with dumb shit, so we all gotta deal with it. Alright. Now here's more bats, because the world needs more bats. God damn. I really... Oh, I hate you bats. God fucking damn it. It's my goddamn nerves. Yeah, I see you. You're God's little gift to everyone. Such a precious little angel. Had some shitty poison. Did you? Did you enjoy it? Was it good? Oh, he fell off. What a fucking moron. Here, let me do something annoying for him. Well, poison is... It's not a big deal, but it's still fucking irritating. Don't you go down there. Trying to stand directly under me so I can't hit him. Okay. Wow, that jumped in midair. That was weird. Alright, but there's more of these things, and there technically is garbage down here, so I gotta deal with that now. Yeah, I know, poison. Did you know poison? Yeah, I've heard the word. Actually, let me put on my... Here's a good use for you, blessed dude talisman. So I don't have to actually waste a bunch of garbage on you. What will kill you the fastest? Let's check. Is it Black Flame? 815. Is it Flame of Frenzy? It is Flame of Frenzy. It is. Probably, unless it's Lightning Strike, which I very sincerely doubt. God, there's just too many. No, that does nothing. That does absolutely nothing. And it's not Lightning Spear. Nope. It's gonna be Flame Cleanse Me. Okay. I'll just wait for you to get tired of doing whatever it is that you think you're doing. Wow. I tell you, melee does like nothing in this game. I've been thinking about this a lot on my strength character. The game is obsessed with magic, like Elden Ring is. It almost feels like there's two different build types in Elden Ring, and it is faith and intelligence. The days of, oh, you do not go quality in this game. You just don't. I think actually even the... I think that the stats on it are that it almost doesn't matter with every single weapon. If you have... Like, it's always better to allocate your points towards strength or dexterity. Because they always outscale quality. Which... This is going to be a jumping off point to a bigger discussion. I wonder if I can get off another cast of anything. No, I can't. Yeah, well. Let's do this then. Let me think. That's what I wanted. Thank you, Flame of Frenzy. No problem. That's its name. That's how it does it. This is voice now. Could you go down? Go down, poison? Thank you. Okay, Elden Ring has a gigantic issue with its scaling. Like, it is... I'm just gonna get poisoned. I don't fucking care. It's too annoying dealing with it. Oh, did you poison me? Wow, congratulations. Now you're poisoned! Yeah, I get it. No one cares. Oh, he's already poisoned. Fuck. What do we do now? I don't know, Dave. What do we do? Man, Flamer Frenzy is so much better than hitting them with a stick. Build up on it. Man. I don't know what controls the build-up level, but I got a lot of casts out of that. Alright. Yeah, I see you. I see you little dipshits. Let me clear this out so I can actually think about what I'm doing. Come on. Maybe I can stagger it and actually... There we go. You can almost never visceral these things. Like, the angle on their hitbox is very unusual. There we go. Got all that done. Alright, is that it for the shitty area? So there's basically almost nothing down here. Just these... Come on, video game. Just these poison bloom flowers and... like the mushroom pickup or whatever it was that I just got down here. And that's pretty much it. Other than that, yeah, this links back up to the top over here. Yeah, that's it. Nothing else is going on. Whoops. Let me scroll through my million spells. There we go. Okay, now, scaling. Scaling in Elden Ring as time has gone on, I'm glad that more people are on board with me in this regard. Because usually the honeymooning in FromSoft games is really bad, and no one's really willing to discuss or criticize anything about it until way later on in its life cycle. There's been a lot more overt criticisms of Elden Ring as time has gone on. There, of course, are honeymooners that are still, like, viscerally angry if you dare criticize anything about it, because it's just the perfect video game. But let me actually do this. Man, it uses up a lot of magic, though. But thankfully, people have been more critical. Of course, the problems in Elden Ring are a bit more apparent than they are in some of the other games, though. Like with Dark Souls 2 is more like, I don't know, something feels off about it. And that was sort of a nebulous problem that people had, because a lot of it came down to, like, the animations feel kind of strange, and the enemy placement in specific areas is not good, and there's just very specific things like that. Of course, with Elden Ring, it's like playing a pure melee build is a pain in the ass. A lot of the enemy movesets are completely unfair. The scaling on quality is terrible. The scaling on like bows and crossbows, like I mentioned earlier, is also horrendously bad. Early weapons... Why am I still building? Yeah, thanks. Thanks. Go away. This is another... Look at this. This keeps going up. If you ever roll in anything in this game, it's like, no, you're just going to keep getting... It's going to keep happening for the rest of eternity, and you can't get rid of it. It's not like Dark Souls 2 where you could just roll a few times and it shakes off whatever it is. No, it's just on there. What can you do about it? Nothing. Just get fucked. This is the solution. Get fucked. Anyways, it has overt problems. Scaling is terrible in a lot of things. The way that stats work is kind of baffling. Like, I'm at level 140 now, right? Which is obscenely high for the level that I'm in, just because, as I mentioned before, I have nothing else to do. Like, the requirements for hitting soft cats in this game are way too high. The requirements for being able to use a lot of weapons... It ranges strangely. A lot of them are almost too low. Well, here's another problem with the weapons. This is more direct. A lot of the early game weapons become completely invalidated. It's not like the earlier games where, oh, you want to use a longsword the entire game? Go ahead. Like, its reach might be a little bit too short for a lot of enemies, but for the most part it'll be fine. Its damage will be maybe 20 points less than something you'll find later on, but it's still okay. Whereas in Elden Ring, it's like, no. Anything that you find in any of the portions of the game that I've been to, with the exception of like 1 or 2 weapons, all that is going to be utter trash by the time that you get to the end game. And we're putting all the best shit at the very, very end. Which I mentioned before, I absolutely despise. I don't like that at all, but, you know, beside the point. So there's sort of a narrative, narrative too. Like, all the scaling in Elden Ring is bad, because you have stat scaling problems, you have equipment scaling issues, you have item placement scaling issues, in the sense that things are being placed in the back end as opposed to the front end, or interspersed throughout the game. And you also have narrative scaling issues, where the game doesn't want to explain anything at all until either the midpoint or the very, very end of the game, apparently. Because, like, right now I have almost nothing to go off of, so I can't explain anything in that regard. I can't figure anything out. Because even the scaling of that's bad. And I think a lot of it just comes down to the fact that Elden Ring is an open-world game. And I hate to blame everything on that, because it's a very nuanced problem. But Elden Ring shares a lot in common with Breath in the Wild. Breath in the Wild, yes, that's what I said. In the sense that, I said this before, the legacy dungeons like Stormvale, or the Academy up here, or even like the smaller areas like Fort Height, the little bitty forts, the castles, things like that. Those are the most fun areas in the game, I think. And they are the most similar to the older games. And Breath of the Wild had that same exact issue, where most of the most engaging content was like the 4 main dungeons, which themselves were incredibly short and all looked like the same thing, because they were all themed after those stupid robot things. But those were the best sections in the game, because they were the most engaging. They had puzzles, you know, they still had combat sections, they were laid out. And they were, like, Zelda, I like the old Zelda games for the same reason I like the layout of, like, Demons and Dark for the most part. They are linear, but they link back to themselves. Zelda to a lesser extent. They are made up mainly of corridors, but they also have very open areas that are not so open that you actually get lost in them. And even after you complete them, you can still, like, re-explore the areas and still find things inside of them. Which to me is the perfect mix of exploration, adventure, puzzle solving, like all those elements. It's a great format. Really like it. Whereas in Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild, you have these giant areas that you can explore things, and there'll be like a Starlight Shard over here, there'll be a Rune Arc down over here, like there'll be ruin fragments over here, like it's just junk. But for the most part, there's this huge tracts of completely empty land that have nothing in it, there's nothing interesting about it. Because it's an open area, even things like the ruins are just generic assets, they don't mean anything, there's no storytelling associated with them. Even the things like the Everjails, they're kind of just there. You feel like they could be put anywhere and it wouldn't really matter. And if you come across anything, it might be like a Korok. Haha, you found me! It's just nothing. Like, I really feel like all the open world games are just big traps. That for the first 10 or something hours, they kind of make you feel like you're exploring this big open wilderness where anything can happen. But after that, I've always had this opinion of open world games. Like, they're fine, but I find they actually cause more harm than they do good. But by the time you have enough hours in them, you see through that, and it's just like... it's nothing. It's just a big, open, empty area. It's sort of like people complaining in GTA 3, I think it was. People were complaining about how there are all these buildings and you can't go inside of them. That was a big complaint at the time. And I think in one of the later games they actually made it so that you could go into more of them. I think Vice City also did this. You could go inside. You can go inside the buildings now! And what do you find when you go inside of them? Nothing. You don't find anything. Why would there be anything inside of each of the buildings? Even if there was something inside of each of the buildings, why would you design the game in such a way that you have to, like, grid off the whole area and go into every single fucking building to discover the one thing that's inside of all of them? Why would you design a game like that? It's miserable. It's like if you had this open world here, and sure, there are lots of empty spaces. Like here, there's like in this whole area right here, there is nothing. There's not a goddamn thing. There's like some deer running around, and that's it. But then you hit the outskirts, and there's like a single starlight shard thing. There's the emote you pick up, and then there's the Everjail. But they're on the outskirts, right? You wouldn't want it packed so that every square inch there's something to pick up. It would be miserable having to do it that way. But if you're going to do that, then why are you making it open world in the first place? The whole point of it being this much space is to actually hide these things so that they are difficult to find. So it contributes to this false sense of adventure. But if you're also packing that in with it being a FromSoft title that loves obfuscating things and hiding things behind other things that are themselves also hidden, then it exacerbates that misery and creates the need to do things like make interactive maps where you are having to load up like what I'm doing here. Like how I've been playing this, like all these things that are marked on the map, I thankfully have gotten rid of them. But you remember, each time that I get to a new area, at the end of an LP part, I will try to run over and grab like one of the map markers, and then map out that whole area. And then, when I'm offline, I will go into the interactive map, look at all the things that I need to pick up, all of the bosses that I need to fight, all the Everjails that I need to clear, all the dungeons, all the item pickups that I could potentially get from drops, and just go through, and using their little silly system here for tagging things, arduously go in and mark every single one of them so that I know that they are there. Because if you do it organically, and you just so happen, especially across different characters, and you're like, oh, I picked up the tree spear down here on my strength character. And then you're on your faith character, and you're like, I wonder where my tree spear is. I don't know. Did I ever pick it up? Because I actually need that. You're like, well, I remember picking it up, and then you realize, oh no, that was on a completely different character. And then you'll have to go do it on that character too, even though you feel like you already cleared out this area. You need a way to, like, the reason why Ubisoft games are such a mess with the UI is because they have that problem. And their solution to that problem was, well, let's just make a clunky UI that has shit tons of things all over it so that you actually know what the fuck things are. Like, you know where the stuff is. You know, oh, there's one thing you didn't get here. And it's all gridded off so that you can actually explore things in a methodical and extremely mechanical way that is inauthentic to the world that you're trying to inhabit if it's being an open world. FromSoft's solution has been to give you the middle finger and say, go fuck yourself. If you want to actually explore this thing in a methodical way and collect everything and have an inorganic experience because you're actually trying to obtain things, then either one, be a console player that just loads a mule and run over and change your name and your appearance to whatever you want, and just have all the items on you anyways, because you don't actually care about any of them. But they're there in case you ever need to access them. Or just don't give a shit. Collect 1/4 of the things that are in the game. Don't think about the lore, don't care about any of it. Have a half-hearted experience where you clear the game, describe it as your favorite game ever, play it maybe like halfway through on another character, and then never play it ever again. But still tell people how it was the best game you ever played. Like, be one of those two things. So, point being, open world games, I really don't like them. Like, I like riding around in them, the travel component of it is fun to me, but the hiding things all over the planet part of it is misery. Either way. If they don't tell you where it is misery because you have to figure out where it is. If they do tell you where it is, it's misery because then it becomes... It's like picking up shit in your room. It's just a chore. It's a brutal chore of having to, on every character, ride hours just roaming around picking up garbage. And it takes away from the experience of actually it being an open world in the first place. And there's not much of a way for you to resolve those two design problems. Other than just make a traditional Zelda game. Make a traditional Dark Souls game that doesn't have an open world, but it still interlinks with... That's why I love shortcut porn, as it's called. Because it's the perfect way of combining those two things. The problem was solved years ago. That's how you make an open world without it being open world. You just make everything interconnected, but you make sure that... the shortcut... Like, Metroid also does this, but it does it in a very bad way. Like, in Metroid games, you come across a door, and it's a red. You're like, how do I get through this? And it isn't until, like, 20 hours later, in some cases, where you get a gun that shoots, like, I don't know, fucking octopuses out of it or something. Except they're magical. And that's the thing that opens that specific color of door. But at that point, you have completely forgotten that that door ever existed in the first place. You don't care. And whenever you first come across that door, you don't know that. And you might have the impulse of, well, there's got to be a solution here. And you start looking around the room, and there is no solution. It's just a big middle finger that just says, nah, this will be something later. And some people love that. Some people love coming back to that door and going, oh yeah, that thing. I barely remember coming across that door whenever I first started the game, and to them that's really exciting. I get that, but also understand that for other people like me, that's extremely irritating, and it doesn't give you a positive experience at all. Because whenever you get back to that door and you're like, oh yeah, that thing. Because you in my mind, it's like, well, how come you didn't just put that behind a wall where I couldn't see it? How come instead of it being a door that's in the starting area, you didn't partition the starting area into two areas, since only one of them is being used at the moment, and then just make it so that if you want to come back to this location, then it's there in an area that wouldn't confuse the player. Like, you get what I'm saying? So if you're going to make it like a shortcut like that, it can't be something where you get to it and you're like, what do I do with this? How do I fix this problem? And probably the best example of that probably is something... Dark Souls 1 did not do this perfectly. But something like the Firelink Shrine elevator. Because once you get to it, you're like, what the hell's this thing? And it's just a big open shaft, right? And it looks like you can kill yourself if you drop down it. That's one thing that I would change. But if you drop down it, then you realize, oh, it's a secret path, and it leads to some treasure chests. So in your mind, the area is now complete. Like, what was this thing? Oh, it was like a secret area that leads to loot. And you're done. You can check that off mentally. But then later on, you get back to that area, you get to the church, and you take the elevator down, and you're like, holy shit, this was actually a shortcut the entire time, and I never realized it. And droppable ladders are the same way. Where you can get to some random-ass cliff, and it's just a cliff. And you, much later on the game, drop a ladder, and you're like, oh, there was a ladder up there the entire time. I didn't even notice that there was a shortcut that would be available there. So there's no problem for you to solve, you don't think about it. But whenever you actually unlock the shortcut later, it makes the world that much more lived in and open, and that much more of an open world, while still giving you the shortcut and giving you the experience of, oh wow, this thing was always here. That's the perfect way to handle this situation. So there you have your three different extremes. Metroid does it incorrectly by showing you the thing and rubbing it in your face and basically flipping you the bird and saying, you can't open it. Come back 1 million years from now. That's a bad way of handling it, in my opinion. Then you have the Dark Souls way, which is kind of the perfect way of handling it. Which even they kind of screw it up, because, like, for example, the elevator that you take down to get to Well, even that's not a great example. But there are some like elevators and shit where you get to it and it's just a big open pit. So you might think, well, what do I do? How do I get the elevator? Because you know it's an elevator. Like, that would be an example of a bad way of handling that. But the New Londo one, you can take that elevator immediately. It's just that the door is locked unless you have a master key. But even that's kind of a... Like, even... If you get to that door, then you might be like, oh, the master... I don't know what the master key is. I need a key to open this. Where's the key? And then you search the whole area and you never find one, right? That would be my criticism of a door like that. And then you have the other extreme of Breath of the Wild, or this game, where there's no shortcutting at all. It's just a giant open area that is almost impossible to explore. And you need an interactive map or people just telling you where things are in order to find everything. Anyways, let's fight this boss. I'm sorry. I just had to formulate all those thoughts. Okay, what do I even have with me? Oh, nothing? Is it nothing? Cool. Let me summon in the boys real fast. No, we're not doing that yet. By the way, you might be wondering what these little things that look like dildos sticking out of the ground are. Those are just there. I don't know what they actually are, but they are there to signify that you can summon. If you see this on the ground, then that means that you can summon. And you might be wondering, Plague, why exactly would I notice that before I notice the big glowing, just die already? I'm trying not to think about you. Perish. I'm level 140, I'm just better than you in every way. Why would you notice that on the ground, which is almost completely unnoticeable, instead of the big glowing icon? And yeah, I agree. I don't have an answer for that. I don't know why they even bothered. But yeah, whenever you see these things, that means that you can summon. So I guess this little totem is the thing that makes it possible for you to summon? This one of those things, you would think if it's that much of a problem to the boss, then the boss would just pick it up and throw it outside. But maybe the boss is dumb. I don't know. It's another Elden Ringism. Okay, got that. Let's try to describe this horde thing before I die. What was the thing I just picked up? I thought it was one of these, but I guess not. Oh, it just looks like it. Wing sword insignia, a talisman depicting a raised prosthetic blade. And I think that we'll come across some prosthetic stuff later. An honor bestowed upon the knights who fought alongside Millennia the Severed, whoever the hell that is. The Severed? I guess Millennia the Severed. She was severed because she lost an arm? I don't know. Raises attack power, successive attacks. Can you imagine... How many times do you actually get the chance to do successive attacks in these modern FromSoft games? That's kind of the problem in Dark Souls 3. I forget what the name of the actual ring was, but it was... You got it pretty early. And if you landed enough successive attacks, then either it would set off like a AoE explosion, I think was one, or raise your attack power. I can't remember. But it's one of those rings that no one ever used, because it just doesn't work. Or the amount of attacks that you need in the window that it requires is just too ridiculous. Like, it almost never came up. The wings symbolize Millennia and her undefeated prowess. Oh, she was undefeated? Wasn't Millennia the name of the... No. I think that was a different M lady that went and fought Radon, that's what I'm thinking of. Though she never knew relief from the accursed rot she was born into. She was born with it? Must have been a nasty-ass pussy. Don't eat that placenta. Her blade was forever beautiful and relentless. I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was, baby. Okay, that's done. Let's go run over here to Cliff Bottom Catacombs, get that one done, and then I guess I'll be done for this episode. I've bitched enough. Sure you guys are annoyed with me as it is. But the greater point that I was trying to lead into... Anyways... My voice is really worn out now. But the greater point I was trying to lead into is that Elden Ring does have a lot of scaling issues. Elden Ring has a lot of design issues. And I think almost all of its design issues stem from two things. One is that George was in charge of writing the general premise. And I don't mean that George was the problem. I mean more that since Miyazaki didn't want to infringe on what was already written, what the core concept was, he couldn't really integrate into it as easily. Like, if you are the writer, for a story, then you have absolute control. You can change whatever you want to, whenever you want to change it. And you can integrate things more easily that way. No. Stop. God, I hate these things. There, God. They're so desperate to make you take unfair damage. Come over here so we can face fuck you and as a group. No. Oh. Shit. That's the other thing I wanted to... Before I go any further. One of the things that I did offline was I actually came in here. I avoided picking up any items or pulling any levers or anything. And all I did was run past these guys and kill the big fat ogre guys that are down there because they drop a specific item. They dropped a warped axe, I think it is. This is the other thing that I wanted to talk about. Well, not talk about, just show. It's an optional item, so. Oversized double-headed axe with a bizarre, almost melted appearance. Why is it melted? I don't know. Brute strength is the only thing required to wield this weapon, which appears to have taken quite the beating itself. So, yeah, it used to be an axe, and it looks like it had been melted, which makes no sense. And also, it's just bent, and it looks shitty. The enemies that you get it from are those big fat omen guys. So it has something to do with being an omen. Being an omen makes you bend and melt your shit, I guess. I don't know. Anyways. Elden Ring. So yeah, Miyazaki, I'm sure, could not integrate the lore as much as he wanted to. Because he doesn't want to infringe on George's work, which is fine. But I think that's the reason why so many item descriptions in this game just say generic shit like that, like the warped axe that I just read. Just, it's a big brutish axe, it's kind of weird looking. Doesn't say a single thing. Completely worthless. And even a lot of the item descriptions for things that seemingly look like they would be important don't say anything either. And by the way, that's the actual solution to this area is dropping down there. But this is an optional area, so I may as well. And that's a trap. I actually took damage from this little idiot goombooing me on the head because he was dropping down. Oh, you have glowy eyes today. What did I put my... I exchanged out my ash for something. What was it? I think I put it... Yeah, I put it on my Omen Cleaver. Man, my AR drops a lot, though, going to this. And it's because... No, this is +3 too. But it is a unique weapon. That's why. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the pacing of the item descriptions and things like that seem like that's where the source of the problem is. Wow, took a lot from that. Wow, I can't see shit. I really hate these guys. They're so stupid looking, doing their dumbass little ninja moves. Oh, for fuck's sake! Hate that Dark Souls 2 shit, where they just hold the goddamn attack and fly swatter it until you actually run into it. Christ, why can't you just move like an actual human being? Alright, stop attacking. Stop attacking! Fucking Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3 shit. Here, come here. Let me have the perfect solution for you. Big fat fucking ninja idiot. Here, wander into this shit. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that not... Are you taking your time? You need the wipe first? I really hate playing modern FromSoft games. They're all like this. Come here! Yeah, come here, you fat fucking idiot. Dumbass. I hate having to baby all the enemies in these games. You either have to be a mechanical mastermind and just do everything perfectly while getting in your one katana hit, or you just have to deal with all that shit constantly. Anyways. So the narrative has that problem because of, like... Also the fact that it's open world means that you can go anywhere, almost. Like, of the areas that you see here, we have not mapped out this area yet. Whatever it's called. Name doesn't occur to me. Kaled. All this you can go to pretty much instantly. And even as demonstrated in part 3 or whatever, you can go grab the medallion here and the medallion over there. And you can go up to the capital almost right away, within a few minutes of starting the game. And because of that reason, parsing out the plot, the narrative is that much more of a concern, because, hey, if it can go anywhere, how do we actually reveal things in a methodical, very finely paced way? And I guess his solution to that was, well, our main throttle point is going to be getting into the capital itself. So don't say anything about anything that is important whatsoever until they get to that point. Or until they get to areas like the underground city, for example. Which, yeah, you can go to the underground city very quickly here, but it's locked off. Like, there's nothing actually really down there. Haven't even done that yet. There's nothing really down there, so you can't really explore much of anything. So there's really nothing down there except for confusing things, unless you have progressed Randy's questline to the point where you can gain access to like an area that opens up like right around here, I think. And once you do that, then you actually have some more information. Okay, let's see if I can kill this guy quickly without him doing any fucking... Oh man, he's so good! I don't know, something about watching him. Just the fact that they do those moves is just so goddamn annoying to me. I don't know what it is. You just gonna stand there and do that? Okay. Of course that didn't affect him. Just those stupid kicks. I don't know what it is. Something about that is really irritating me. Like he's... I don't know, it's... I've always also had a thing with people that are trying to show off how cool they are. Like arrogant people, or egotistical people, or loudmouths. Just things like that. And the fact that it's just this big idiot, like clearly just a big fool, can barely dress himself, is just shitting in his shitty little loincloth. Like, that's also a reason why the Auburnarks annoy me, is because they do their stupid little cartwheels. It makes you just want to, like, grab them by their non-existent hair and just scream in there, stop doing that shit! You're a dumb little frog man. You don't get to do that. Just that. There's this weird primal feeling that I get. Fun fact, did you know that Andre the Giant... Where the hell's he going with this? Did you know that Andre the Giant... I forget what his actual last name was. But he absolutely hated that same thing. He hates people that he saw as being arrogant or egotistical, which does not combine well with the wrestling. The WWF, WWE now. Because that's kind of the whole thing, is trying to be a larger-than-life personality, right? But he infamously detested a bunch of different people. He did not get... Like, he was a big man, and he knew that his thing was he was a big guy. So anyone else that was like, I'm also the big guy, some no-name guy, I can't remember. He also stepped over the top ropes. He hated that guy. He was like a blonde dude. Can't remember his name. He's like a third stringer. And he hated Macho Man Randy Savage. Although I think in that case it was less about his personality and more about the fact that he used baby oil. I remember there's like some interview, I think it was with Hulk Hogan, Terry, whatever his last name is. But he recounted some story of before a match, Randy, I think also he didn't like the way that he treated Elizabeth. That was also part of it. Yeah, alright. It wouldn't let me attack him because I had that stupid key message on the screen. Even though it doesn't have a hit A to proceed thing. Isn't that like a failure of the... Too many things. I think there is like a standardization thing that you have to go through whenever you're going through certification for a video game. And I think actually the fact that that message does not show that you have to press A to get rid of it is a failure of those certifications. So I don't know why it's that way, but anyway, sorry. But anyways, Andre the Giant detested people like that. He didn't like Randy Savage because of the Elizabeth stuff. He didn't like how she was treated, I think. But also because Randy Savage obsessed with using baby oil on his body. So he walked in, it's like, hey, good match tonight or something. He's like, no baby oil, get out, no baby oil. It's something like that. I remember laughing, it's been a few years, but anyways. But that came to mind. Just, Andre the Giant detested people he saw as being arrogant or belittling other people. Nox mirror helmet thing. I never see anyone wearing this. I think it actually increases the damage you take or something. Helm fashioned from a crystal looking glass. Once among Eternal City's ritual implements. So this came from the Eternal City for some reason. Easily broken and weak against striking attacks. Worn by those committed to high treason. It wards off the intervention of the Greater Will and its vassal fingers. Okay. So you, I guess, take bonus damage from striking attacks. For some reason. I mean, it's made of glass, I suppose. Crystal-looking glass. It's glass! Like, it's crystal-looking glass? But it is a ritual implement. You wear this on your head. I guess you can't see out of it. It wards off the intervention of Greater Will. Whatever Greater Will is. And its vassal fingers. Okay. Note this does not say two fingers. We already saw the quote-unquote corpse of another finger. Another two-finger. And we've also seen the one that's still alive, quote-unquote. I wonder if the three fingers, which we know exist now, also were considered to be the vassals of the Greater Will at some point. If they had not also betrayed it, or maybe they haven't, and they're also serving some sort of weird purpose. But it does not say its vassal two fingers. Although it could just be another mistranslation, or it could just be that it's not mentioning that component of it, I don't know. But apparently, even though we supposedly are meant to serve the fingers, and the fingers serve the Erd Tree, or actually I don't know if they are stated to serve the Erd Tree, it just says that they're serving the Golden Order, or whatever. Or they're trying to restore the Golden Order. But all that serves the Greater Will, whatever that is. Also note that the corpse that we plucked this from looks to be suffering from the frenzy. The frenzy effect that we identified earlier. So he would be a servant of the three fingers. So maybe the three fingers were also in league with him in some way? Although this does not necessarily... I wonder if we wore this in front of Randy, if she'd be impressed. It says that it was worn by those committed to high treason against the Greater Will and its vassal fingers. It does not say anything necessarily about... It doesn't necessarily say anything that's about explicitly the Night of Black Knives or whatever. But it does say it came from the Eternal City, and they did say that the women of the Eternal City were also complicit in that plot. Although I think some people in the comment section were also like, yeah, they really didn't, or something like that. I don't know. We'll find out later, maybe, I guess. But I guess you can want to kill the gods or whatever the hell's going on in this game without it necessarily relating to that one night. So maybe it was just a completely unrelated plot. Yeah, I see you. I see you, other one. Here. I was hoping that they would run into that. Get off! Fucking camera. I hate it whenever the camera is the thing that I have to fight. Oh, just whenever I roll, don't bother registering that I pressed it. Yeah, that's cool. I enjoy just standing there and taking a hit. Elden Ring. Oh, Elden Ring. Okay. Oh, I hate getting to this. I'm not like, it's not even like anger. It's just like this, the need to just be like, I think it's just that there's no one next to me that's saying like, that was bullshit. If I just had one person here that's like, oh, fuck that. Or someone's like, how come you didn't roll? It's like, I pressed the button to roll, just nothing came out. Like, there is like a weird... It only happens sometimes. Like, you press the button, and it will happen, but it happens... There's like some sort of input latency to it, where you can tell that it registered, but it just doesn't want to bother until like a full second later. I don't know what it is. But if I just had that one person next to me that was like, yeah, that happens sometimes, it's some sort of weird bug, then it would be fine. Because, like, I think I've said this before, but nothing brings people together like complaining about things. Like, sharing common interests is fine. Yeah, I see. Do not cause me damage from this one idiot falling. I don't deserve to take damage just because this little moron... And just then, I swung twice. He should be dead. There's no reason why that hit should not have connected. I should not have taken damage just now. Go fuck yourself, Elden Ring. I know it was only like fucking 5 damage or whatever the hell it was, but it's damage that I should not be taking. Suck a dick, Elden Ring. Yes, I know that you're over here. Wow. Did that actually lock on? I was trying to lock onto this guy because I expected him to turn a corner. He's just standing there, I guess. But it actually locked onto a guy that's behind like 3 walls in the next room. Amazing. Really? He knows I can't actually hit him like this. He can. Like, I'm not allowed to hit through walls. He can, though. Because video game. Come to me, my sweets. There we go. At least it brings him down to 1 hit. Unfortunately, he loves piling giant piles of enemies onto you. Where are the other ones? Come on. Oh yeah, I know you're very cool, very fast. Such a ninja. That swinging move is probably the move that I hate the most out of them. Where they just swing their little axe. Let's see, how many times is it? 1, 2... I think it's like 5 or 6 times. Oh boy, so they actually named it correctly. But that's my least favorite move. Because it's almost impossible to escape, and it has kind of... You don't even get to roll to the side. They like track into you. It's kind of obscene. Anyways, Scythe. I think this is like the worst of the Scythe weapons, for obvious reasons. Large Scythe, featuring a long, slender blade, designed to reap. This weapon is capable of rapidly inflicting blood loss while also slipping through an enemy's guard. It is not. That's not how scythes work, but sure thing, Elden Ring. In the hands of a highly dexterous wielder, it is capable of striking fear into the heart of any foe. I'm sure it is. I'm Sure, that's what they're feeling. It's fear. Yep. But at least they actually named the scythe a scythe in this game. Although I think that the bardiche is actually in this game still. I don't see it. No, I don't have it yet, if it is. But I think I saw the bardiche in the weapon list, and it was named something that was not bardiche again. So, like the third or fourth game in a row, they have, again, named that weapon completely incorrectly, which is funny. Anyways, oh gosh, what was my train of thought that I had one day in the distant past? Here. This is a topic that I written down ages ago. And then I forgot that I had it. But I have it written down. This is a thought process I was having probably like half a month or maybe more than that. But I wrote down, this is me complaining to myself, that dexterity barely affects casting speed. Because this is the reason why I was trying to lead into my discussion about scaling and whatnot. But if you go look on like YouTube of people doing comparisons of weapon casting speed using dexterity, it barely affects it. Like it's to the point where you may as well just not even have it at all. Strength doesn't do anything to casting speed. It doesn't do anything to spells at all, in fact. I have raises defense, question mark? Maybe I was talking about strength. It's been so long, I don't remember why I wrote this stuff down. Armor does raise defense, but it is so low that the investment into load/strength is better used by just putting a couple points into vigor. That is also something I wrote down. Most of the time, this is me complaining about the bonus effects of things. Like dexterity, oh, it also raises your spell slinging speed. Woo! In this game, it may as well not exist. It almost is unnoticeable. If you put 0 dex and 99 dex next to each other, you can see the difference, but it is minuscule. It affects almost nothing. It's like how in games where you have a health bar and there's like a strike system like this, and most of your damage is coming from individual hits. The amount of health you have does not matter unless it adds one swing. So in Elden Ring, right now I have 1,834 health points, right? For some bosses, that is enough for 2 of their hits. The number that I have could be 40 billion health points, but that would not matter if I got killed in one hit. Or if, for example, I have my 1,834 health points. Let's say that I take damage for 1,800 health points from one swing, right? That means in 2 swings I die. Then let's say that I dump an absurd amount of points into Vigor. I get it to like 99. I don't know what it ends up being, but let's say that it raises my hull points up to, 2,400 health points. Then I take that same amount of damage, 1,800. Now instead of being left with 34 health points, I'm left with whatever, 700 or something? I can't even remember what number that I just said. That's still 2 swings. So even though it's like, whoa, so much more number, it doesn't matter. Because it just comes down to how many swings that you actually get. The same thing goes for your attacks as well. If you raise your AR, it doesn't actually matter unless the thing that you're hitting dies in less swings. So if I come across one of those horrid little... like the stupid Omen guy down here. Like I was having trouble with them, right? If these guys right now die in 6 swings, and if I raise my AR, actually I can test that. And if I raise my AR and it's still 6 swings, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that the weapon deals more damage. Correct? Correct. Same thing goes with, like, armor. Like, I can put on, like, my heaviest possible armor that has the best physical damage negation, whatever. But if by putting on the best possible armor that I have in the game, it doesn't actually give me that one additional swing of damage, so that instead of dying in 2 hits, I die in 3, then the armor's worthless. It doesn't do anything. And that has been consistently modern FromSoft's kind of problem with like gaining new armors and things. Like, what do we do with these things? We want it to be cosmetic, but if we make it useful, then that means that everyone will be using the same armor, which has also been a problem, because everyone in most of the games uses Havel's armor, or in this game, if you want to be a heavy guy, then you have to use Bull's horns armor, or whatever the fuck it's called. I hate the way that both of those armor sets look, but if you want to be that thing, that's what you have to look like. It's been consistently an issue in the games. So, the same thing goes with the whole dexterity. Like, why does dexterity barely affect casting speed? One is because in this game, as I've criticized, there are basically 2 builds, faith or intelligence. Basically. Like, I'm being a little bit hyperbolic, but that's basically true. Part of it is that. Part of it also is that they're trying to encourage people to have a reason to use strength in addition to casting. So they're like, well, we can't make it so extreme, because if someone wants to use casting in our game in which we really want people to use casting, to the point that melee feels like really gimped as a result, especially quality builds, then we can't make it so that dexterity is the thing that really greatly affects casting speed. Because then everyone will do nothing but run dexterity builds with casting. So what do? We make it useless. And that was their solution with armor. What do we do with armor? We make it useless. Same thing with, So with, like, strength, what would strength do? Like, if you were compensating, what would it do? You can make it give you frames of hyper armor, which obviously they don't like. Like, FromSoft obviously has gotten to the point where they despise the idea of allowing people to take hits through poise or hyper armor. It technically exists in this game, but in PvE, you can tell it's almost completely worthless. In PvP, it becomes much more of an issue, which is ridiculous. They handle poise and hyper so badly in this game. But, you could make it so that it makes the spells do a little bit more damage, I suppose, but you run into that same problem of, if I throw 5 lightning spears into someone and it kills them, does that then become 1 lightning spear? Does it become 4? Or does it become just 5 again, except the number is technically bigger? But it doesn't actually matter because it does not actually improve your chances of beating the enemy. So, point being, a lot of the reason why Elden Ring scaling is so bad is because it has open world, they don't know where you're going to go, they don't know what you're going to do. The game is long because it's open world. So also as a result, your numbers are going to be way more inflated than normal. So they're expecting you to dump way more into your levels. So to that effect, they have to make it so that the scaling on your stuff almost doesn't do anything at all until you get to a certain point in the game, which has an exacerbated effect on if you want to be a caster. In the prior games, it's like if you want to be a caster, your build is almost completely worthless until it is done, until you're at the very, very end of the game. And even in this game, they still seem to have this ridiculous, pathetic fantasy that everyone is playing a strength or dexterity build until they get to the point where they can actually cast. Which is why, like, for example, if you're using a faith build, as I've complained before, I can't put the ashes that I want on my weapons because I don't have the wet blade for it. Because the wet blade is in the fucking capital. So I'm not allowed to have access to everything yet. And that's the reason why, like, keen and quality, keen, quality, and heavy are the first things that you can unlock, because they have this stupid fantasy that everyone has nothing except for those 3 builds until, like, 80 hours into the game or something, and then they become a caster. They graduate, right? But the thing is, the scaling is so bad that why would you dump all your points? Like, why would you go from having 10 in Faith as your starting class to pumping your strength and dexterity up to like 30, and then spending the mid-game where you're making almost no rune income at all in this game, and you would need to burn tons of hours farming the runes necessary to upgrade a useless stat like Faith or Intelligence that's sitting at 9 or 10 or whatever, up to a point where it actually would be useful, more so than your keen or heavy upgrades, which would be like, what, like 40 or 50 or something? That's 40 or something levels that you would waste on potentially nothing. Who does that? That's not how people play these games. Are you insane? The second thing I wrote in the notes, I'm glad that I actually forgot that I wrote this. It goes to show I've been thinking about this a long time. I've never liked the leveling system in these games. This incredibly antiquated 0 to 99 thing that they do, where it has soft caps and they never explain to you what the soft caps are. You just have to like watch the numbers and then just figure it out, or go online to a calculator. That shit is awful. They need to stop doing it. It does not work. It's another FromSoftism. It's one of these things that just doesn't work at all. And the more that they go on, and the more that they try to fix these problems, the more problems they create, because they can't move on from it. In these, let me go on here, kill this guy. Whenever you play these games, whenever you're leveling up, I hope I can actually stun this guy. I don't want to have to deal with this stupid fucking ninja moves. Yeah, of course. Let me get off of charged. Please let me get off of charged R2. Let me roll. Let me goddamn roll. Fucking Elden Ring. Get tired of your fucking bullshit. Oh, cool. Weapon rebounded against the fucking wall. Of course, he never stops attacking because it's a modern FromSoft game. God, I'm just trying to get off of... I was trying to get off jumping R2s because that's the only thing that deals any poise damage in this useless fucking game. Hate how they design these modern FromSoft games. Okay, anyways. So, how you level up in these games? No one does that. No one, like, levels up strength. Like, I'm enjoying this, but I want to try magic now. I'll just dump a few levels in the magic and give it a shot. And they start leveling up faith or something. Or they level up intelligence a little bit. Like, oh, I don't know, I like this one. Oh, I'll try an intelligence next. No one does that. Of course, you punish them so severely when people do that. That doesn't work at all. No one ever does that. What you do is this is the specific way that you do this shit. Before you even start playing the goddamn video game, you figure out what the exact build is going to be at a meta level that is determined by the community. Whether it's 125, whether it's 150. On this character, it's obviously going to be 150 because it's not going to be a PvP character. If you want it to be a PvP character, apparently if you're going for invasions, it needs to be sub 90. If you're going for direct duels, it needs to be 125. The whole system is stupid because we're the ones that have to fix their shit, and they keep doing this problem. Anyways, you figure that out, you figure out what level you're going to end up being at, you figure out the exact weapon that you're going to use, you determine what the exact requirements for that weapon is going to be used, or the variety of weapons that you want to use, and then whenever you finally start the game, and you very, very specifically figure out the exact ratio of things that you want, the first thing you do is you hit the minimum requirements for the things that you need in strength and dexterity. And then after that, if it's available, you will go rush to get the items that you require. which normally for me would be like a sword seal, for example, but I'm trying to be very precise about the flags so I don't ruin NPC questlines. Then after that, you will move up your vigor, because it's a FromSoft game, they're obsessed with one-hit kills. You'll pump your vigor as much as you possibly can, up to a level where you hit the first soft cap, which changes depending on the game, which in this game is 20 for a lot of the skills. And then you'll start pumping whatever your main damage is going to be. And then once you get that up to meet sort of your level of health, like your vigor level, up to 20 or whatever it happens to be, you'll move past that a little bit to like 25, maybe 30, and then you'll start pumping your health again. Then you keep alternating back and forth between those two states, like I have here. Then every so often you might dump a little bit into mind or endurance if you actually do need it really badly. It kind of just depends. It depends on whether you're being a caster or whether you're being melee or whatever. So the way that you level in these games is that you just determine your exact number ratio that you're going for. Then after you have determined what that number ratio is, you stick to it, and you keep pumping until you hit in a completely arbitrary, community-determined meta level. It's awful, and no one ever talks about it. It is a terrible system. It doesn't work at all. But that's the way it is, so that's the way it's going to stay. Now, where the hell's this other idiot? Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to change up my weapons. Let's see how the stupid Omen Cleaver works against these guys. I didn't actually determine how many hits that actually took. That guy is actually... Those guys, it is actually better to not backstab them. You're better off if you do a charged R2, I think, and then do another charged R2 as a follow-up. Because then you're getting in 2 hits, and also dealing more damage. Let's try that out. Try this theory out. Oh, I forgot the range on this is so short. No, still worked, because then you get this. God, they have so much health. Or I'm doing so little damage. Way easier. Way easier. God, they're so stupid looking. Look like candy corn or something. All these stupid little zits all over their body. Alright, did I pick that up? I don't think anything in here is important either way, though. Okay. No, here it is, yeah. No, it is. Prattling Pate, wonderful. At least these things still exist. I appreciate these existing. A whistle's fetish and parts voices and words on a charnel journey. I think they all have the same thing. Yeah, they all say the same thing. So there's no point in even reading them, unfortunately. That's too bad. Anyways, hold on, let me get rid of this guy. Come on. There you go. Then he walked forward, but then he gets shot again. Oh, if only I wasn't stupid. Which I clearly am. I'm very stupid and stinky. He said it. Okay. There's nothing wrong with the leveling system, necessarily. Part of the reason why the leveling system doesn't really work in Elden Ring, specifically, and it really hasn't worked very well in any of the games, it's serviceable. That's the problem. It's something that's very simple that just works if you don't want to think about it. It's there, just arbitrarily to say, alright, soft cap there, soft cap here, we're done. It requires almost no effort. You don't have to require any specific UI for it. It's just very easy, very lazy. You can pull down your pants, take a rancorous shit all over the ground, and you're fucking done with that whole system. That's the reason why it is the way that it is, because it's a FromSoft game and that's how they design. They just dump things in a big pile, do as little as they possibly can to treat the system, and then they give up. Oh, for fuck's sake, will you stop trying to run? If you want to ever use a running attack, I would suggest double tapping it. Because most enemies in the modern games have such extreme ranges and are so fast that they're probably going to close that perfect amount of distance either way. I don't know if that's intentional. I kind of doubt it, knowing it's FromSoft, but still, it's possible. But this leveling system, there's nothing overtly wrong with it. It's just that it's Elden Ring, and things are so inflated now that the problems with it are that much more exacerbated and that much more obvious. That's one of the reasons why whenever I talk about things, I use hyperbolic examples, because if you exaggerate things, then it really highlights individual elements of it. That and it's funny. Solutions. It's easy to talk about, but there has to be solutions. Let me get this guy first. Remember, don't backstab. Double charge R2. Don't stand up and cheat, bastard. Wow, the game completely locked up. Let me try to get in a jumping... No. Jumping R2. Still not working. Here we go again. Jumping R2. Jumping R2. Why are the basic attacks staggering? I guess just because this is considered to be a great weapon as opposed to the... No, that was a colossal weapon. Is this considered to be a colossal weapon, or is it considered to be a standard halberd? I thought this was considered to be a colossal. I don't know. It's probably just standard halberd. That's probably what was going on. Page Ashes, the thing that I was talking about before. Let's talk about this, then I'll continue my bitchy escapades that no one is amused by. It was much nicer in Dark Souls 1 when the LP, I mean, not the actual game. Well, the actual game too, but because in Dark Souls 1 it's like, well, I like this, but this could be improved. You could make this better than it is. Or they started doing this in Dark Souls 2 and Bloodborne, and Dark Souls 3 hasn't come out yet. I think it hadn't come up yet. And I was like, well, they're going towards this direction, but I hope they don't keep doing that. Oh, how young and foolish I was. Of course they kept doing that. It's way worse now. Anyways, but it's much nicer whenever I can criticize things while still being like, yeah, it's still good. It could be better. It doesn't feel good whenever you're like, oh, I hate everything about this, and I want it to change. That feels terrible. I don't like that at all. I know you guys don't either. Again, I apologize if I'm getting on anyone's nerves. I'm getting on my own nerves whenever I have to talk like this. It's very frustrating. Anyways, spirit of a page who traveled up the side of the noble he served. Uses a piercing sword crossbow to defend his master. One becomes a page merely by accident of being born into obscurity. Nothing is asked of ability, talent, or volition. So in this universe, no, they are not nobles. They are nobodies. They're absolute nobodies. And the Page Ashes don't say anything about them being secret perfumers or anything like that. They're just some guy. So, pages are literally no one. Good to know. But for some reason, the Page Ashes are found here with an omen kneeling in front of it. So why exactly did this random page have seemingly a place of noble burial that was being honored by an omen? I don't understand. But then again, I don't know what omens are, because the game hasn't told me anything about them really, other than they have these weird horns all over their body. So apparently they are infected with something. I don't know what. And the catacombs, even though they're associated with those that live in death, sometimes they're not. Sometimes. And sometimes ordinary people are just down here, because presumably all the catacombs were once just fine and considered to be perfectly normal, honored places of burial. Did I already do this? Yeah. Until the whole death route thing got started. Am I going the right way? No. Yes? No. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay. Always, for some reason, I always end up going the right way, but I always second guess myself in this place. So here we are at the final boss of this little area. Did I? Yes, I beat the... I was trying to remember if I beat the boss of the other area or not. I just don't remember him. Okay, what do I want it to be? What's in here? I can't actually remember what's in here, but these guys are +3. I'm used to my other character now where I only have one thing up to +2. I could use anything, I guess. What have I not used? Auburnark. Something that's been going on in Twitter. Lieutenant of Auburnark here, this particular summon ash. I don't know if this is true or if it's something that they did via editing or whatever. I sincerely doubt it. But they demonstrated this inside of Carrier Manor. Remember that there's an area where there's a big troll with a bunch of sorcerers that are guarding the stairway that leads up to where you actually fight that lady knight who favors a bow, whatever it is. If you summon Lieutenant in this area and you drag one of the wolves up there, or this is how they did it, then she will actually, if the wolf gets too close, she'll like hop on top of it and actually start riding on it. Because remember, her entire thing is that she used to have a wolf that she rode named Lobo, which means wolf. And she'll ride around it and shoot her bow from there, which is pretty cool. But it almost never comes up, because what situation is there where you can actually summon her in, and there is also just so happens to be a wolf in the arena? Like, almost never happens. Unless the wolf, I wonder what happens if you summon her in to fight some of the bosses that are wolves. Because the wolf doesn't actually become your ally, it can still hurt you. It's just that, I guess, it's being ridden against its will. I don't know. It's pretty funny either way. It's a little interesting thing. Okay, this might be one of those annoying assassin bosses. I can't quite remember. I need to upgrade these guys too. It's been a while. Almost tempted to summon in the land squirts just to be cute about it. Let's bring in the... nah, no, nothing. Let's bring in our stupid little Auburnark guys. I haven't tried them yet. Let's do it that way. Maybe we can have some fun. Oh, it's these guys. Oh, this guy, I mean. I think this is the magic one. Go get 'em, boys. It's not? It's not the magic one? Then what distinguishes this one? No, it has to be the magic one, right? Yes, it's the magic one. Yeah, don't roll or anything. Tell you what, if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna focus on no one but me, be a cheap little bitch, I'm just gonna be a cheap little bitch right there. Whee! What is another thing I haven't used? Oh, it was the fireball thing. I forgot to equip it. That's what it was. I'd like to use that. Maybe I'll do that real fast at the very end. I like how you can use Flame of Frenzy as a shotgun. Caden Silsaurus. Thanks, horrible little frogman. That's one of the things I really like about the Flame of Frenzy, is the fact that you can like fire it point blank at someone. The game seems to really go out of its way to try to make as many of them miss as possible by shooting them in a really wide cone, but you can still sort of shotgun it, to some degree. Okay. Kind Sword Ash. Yeah, I've gotten this before. Because I think I actually showed it off in one of the first 3 parts. Spirit of a mercenary belonging to a horse-riding folk. Skillfully uses a massive blade made for dismounting other riders, and enhances his already considerable strength with war cries. The sellswords of Kaiden made their... oh, so it's a place. Made their prowess known on countless battlefields. So, another item description that, you know, it's kind of there. Stuff we already knew. Like, we already knew they were mercenaries. We knew they ride horses. We see them doing that. And they use a blade for dismounting other riders. It's literally called a dismounter. We have one. We already knew that he uses war cries that make him be buffed if you have ever fought them at all. And they made their prowess known on battlefields. That's completely worthless. So, we learned nothing. Excellent. Gold Elden Ring item descriptions. I love learning nothing. It's my favorite part. What a rich and fruitful world. Just brimming with lore at every seam. What'd you learn today? Nothing? Cool. Alright. Well, got those two done. I feel that much better for it. Just feeling all sorts of fancy-free. I guess I could go kill a knight century thing or something like that. Finish off one of those dealios. But solutions to the SAT problem. I greatly hesitate to say something like, I guess I'll use the halberd again. It's going to be longer either way. There we go. I just have to make sure I don't accidentally switch to one-handed because of that delightful subsystem. I hesitate to say that you need something like a sphere grid or anything like that. It doesn't need to be that complicated. But I really do think that it should change into be something that actually does require UI in some way. Like, really? This is a two birds, one stone kind of problem. I've always said that the games do not need rerolls necessarily. Like, remember me talking about this, how if the whole idea of leveling up something is to also demonstrate that you know how to use what you're using. So if you level up your faith, for example, actually, now I'm thinking about it. If you level up your faith, excuse me, then at a, oh gosh, excuse me, at a very low level, I can't use it yet? Oh, because it requires 2, okay. Now that'll work out. I would love to get rid of one of these. But which one should it be? Probably Lightning Spear, actually. Because Lightning Strike can hit multiple enemies, and I think Black Flame does more damage than Lightning Spear does. At least using the seal. That may change in the future. There we go. I like it whenever they use multiple slots. Makes me feel much better about having all these damn things. But if you level up Faith, obviously whenever you're low level, you're going to use something that's very, very simple, that has very simple utility, but doesn't do a lot of damage. It's not complicated, though. Like a fireball. Like, you can tell exactly what it is. You just make a little ball of fire in your hand, you throw it a short distance, and it does a little bit of damage. Very clear-cut, very simple to explore and master. That's the idea behind levels. And as you go up, it gives you something more. It gives you something that's a little bit more complicated. And then once you get to the very end of your leveling system, whatever it is, then you might get the spell that does the most damage, but is by far the most nuanced or the most complicated or the most particular, that if you were given that spell at level 1, you wouldn't understand it. Levels. That's what that is. Levels. FromSoft games don't do that. I would like to see however you level up in these games to be more oriented towards that idea. So, whenever you're... The reason why I brought that up. Whenever you're re-rolling something, if you are a level 150 strength user, and you decide, I want to try magic, and you re-roll. In these games, what happens? You re-roll everything, you become an absolutely perfect stat sorcerer. You've never used a spell before. You have no idea how they work. You don't go through that process of, oh, fireball, okay. What's the next thing? Oh, throw 3 fireballs, whatever it is. Like, there's no prolonged process of actually exploring that system and actually learning it. Not that the spells in these games are that complicated, but as time goes on, they could be. So re-rolling your character does not fix that issue, it exacerbates it to a very extreme degree. So my idea for actually leveling this game, if you were to actually keep this system, it would be more like... how to explain this? Because it can't be complicated or else it doesn't work. I would like to be able to use your level ups to level the maximum threshold of your abilities. You know how... this is something to avoid. I'm going to use a bad example. Use a bad example? Stupid. I know. But I will use the example of Oblivion. Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Which famously had a terrible level up system. I'm going to kill this bear first. Because I'm sure that he won't be able to mind his fucking business. Get over here, you little bitch. Fucking running for me. Stop it. No, I want to be a pest. No. Stop. Naughty. Okay. Wanted to fight this guy. But Oblivion had that system where if you like ran a lot, it would level up your ability to run more, right? If you used magic a lot, it would level up your ability to use magic. That sort of shit. I would like to see something somewhat similar. Part of the problem with Oblivion is that, one, it was... and actually, like... one is that the type of game it was more actually physically doing things. So if you wanted to level up stealth, for example, you would do things like go stand in a corner in the top of a house where someone was under it, and then to sneak crawl into a corner for like hours and hours and hours. It's a terrible system for that reason. Because the ways of actually leveling up those things were really arbitrary, and were operating on the idea of, no, the players will just play the way they normally play, and we'll level them up accordingly. No one does that. Like, if you want to be a great sneaker, you're not gonna just casually play, and then just ever so often, oh, I'll sneak now. And then 80 hours into the game, you're like at level 10 in sneaking. No, you're going to find a way to actually level it up because you're trying to get better. It's one of the problems of that system. Plus, another problem was the fact that... I'm not paying too much attention to this idiot. He's being very annoying about trying to avoid everything. But another issue was that... I hate fighting on horseback. What was the other issue? The other issue is that whenever you leveled up, there was that stupid thing where you could actually lose levels, in the sense that you had to like max out the values of what you were trying to level before you actually leveled up. It was a ridiculous system. It made almost no sense. It's extremely complicated. But you could like get a bad level up where you slept and you only had like 3 points to allocate instead of 5 and certain things. It was ridiculous. There were a lot of reasons why the system did not work at all. Yeah. It's fucking bitch move, shoulder tackle. God, he's taken almost no damage. Because all of his damage has been taken by this horse. Okay. Wow. Did a lot of damage to him with that one hit. Ah! Fucking bitch. Oh, no, oh, get my horsey back! Oh, I'm sorry. Was that too hard for you? Were you losing in some very minuscule way? You have to get your precious little fucking horse back? I'm gonna use my stupid new magic I got. See what happens. But I do like the general premise of if you want to level something, you should probably use it. I have no problem with that sentiment at all. Oh, it's one of these. That's it? Ah, for fuck's sake. Of course. So something that you really should use in like a corridor, I suppose. That was weird. Played the sound like I got knocked off my horse, but nothing happened. Oh, he's so strong, guys. I don't know if I can beat his little bitch horse. Go on. Teabag where he used to be. Give him a little taste. There we go. Alright, Ice Spear. Something I will not be able to use once again because I'm a Dirty Faith user. So I'm just not allowed to enjoy most of the things that I get as drops. Okay, in this order position. Ice Spear is skill of the warriors who served Lunar Princess Ranni. Maybe I should use it, even though it's not good for me. Spin armament to release cold magic channel and piercing. I don't care. Usable on pole arms, capable thrusting, twin light, so it's nothing. Just people used to use it whenever they loved Ranni. But only I'm allowed to love Ranni now. Alright. I want to use that spell. I want to use it against something and have it be hurt by it. I want to inflict pain on someone besides myself for once. Alright, got rid of you. I can't... Oh yeah, the boat guy. Yeah, I might be able to... I've never actually... This guy, I've never actually even fought him before. I always kind of just ignore them. Yeah, I guess I can give it a whirl. But I like the idea of being able to actually level up things by actually using them in some way. I don't know if the games need a perk system where you're actually going into a menu and leveling them up that way, but it needs something. But I'm not sure what exactly it should be. I really don't really like the idea of giving up the attribute system entirely. How to go about it? It's something I'll give more thought to. But I mainly just wanted to get the criticism out before I actually start trying to work on a solution. I mean, it doesn't matter. They're never gonna fix that. It's just gonna be what it is forever. And I'm sure that some people even in the comments are like, no, it's fine. Just the soft caps need to be more perfect. Even more perfect. Like, what should they be then? I don't know. Just make them more perfect. Like, it's gonna be that. Because you can tell they have the same exact mentality. I'm just gonna kill this guy for good measure. You can tell they have the same exact mentality. Ah. No. No. See, the thing that actually... the thing that usually happens to players happened to him just then. That's one of the reasons why shields suck in this game for players. He actually, like, what's it called? Not guard boost, but shield countered. He got guard countered or whatever. He shield countered me, but his weapon attack was so slow that I just ignored it. Which is extremely uncommon in Elden Ring. Usually it's the other way around. Because enemies are so goddamn fast. The kind of people that are like, no, I love the shield thing. I did love it too, at the beginning of the game. Beast Eye quivers. But the further you get into the game, the more enemies just don't care about that system anymore. They just completely ignore it. Because they won't rebound against your shield. They'll just keep doing their infinite attack string, so you don't really get a chance to use it. And even if you manage to get it in, sometimes they have so much poise that they just don't care that you landed the counterattack. And their attacks do so much damage to your stamina gauge, because the guard boost doesn't really go that high on most shields. Are you actually just walking up to me? I guess he is just walking up to me. Go get him, you dirty frog freaks. Wherever he is. That you won't be able to use it in that respect. What are you doing on the hill? There's no water. Trina's lady, okay. Alright, guess we're... Why did I hear something down here? Oh, that was weird. Come here, sweeties. Little sweetings. Oh, it's one of these. Great. Anyways, let's just hang out here for a while. What if I could get in the mood by shooting with arrows? Yeah, okay, come up here. I keep hearing... Like, I'm hearing summoning noises, but it's not coming from him. It's like just coming from all around me. This was kind of making me curious. Oh, no, yeah, he did move. That is what happened. Alright, use my special cutie poo move. Yeah, that's what I said. Cutie poo. Alright, stop it. Ah, it didn't really do anything at all. Man, I really wanted it to be cool. This is my consistent issue with Elden Ring. Like, I want to be cool. Let me be cool. And Elden Ring's like, no. The enemies get to be cool. You don't. Because the game needs to be hard. And how can the game be hard if we are allowing you to do cool shit? No, you must suffer. You must die. No. You must die. Go on. Go on now. Look at him go. Such little doofuses. Alright, stop it. You were in the middle of attacking me. Now don't look at me. Disrespectful. In the middle of a fight, immediately move. Oh, the player! Oh, I can't wait to be a bitch! Man, those little skeleton guys not faring too well against these horrible little frogmen. Smithing Stone 3, right? The nice thing about being over level is that you actually do sort of have an opportunity to actually enjoy yourself. Because you don't have to worry so much about getting killed constantly. What did that do? It raises my... What is the other one? Huh. I can't remember what I changed my, my flask to do. Cool. Appreciate you completely whiffing that other one. I like this epic music. Playing as this silly little boatman. Rides around in his boat splashing water on you. I'll get him this time. Ow, fuck. Oh, my boat chair. What the fuck are you doing? Maybe I can let my horrible little frogs finish him off. Let me move. Oh, fuck you! Oh, it actually did work. Go away so I can actually enjoy the sights. Destroy him! Oh, you... God, does everything always have to be so fucking annoying? Deathroot and Skeletal Bandit Ashes. For anyone that wants... If you're like some sort of indie developer, or even a big-time developer that is for some reason, God knows what reason, actually listening to the sound of my voice, whenever you make your Souls clone, don't make it difficult. Don't even make it remotely difficult. Make it engaging, because there are those are different things. I know that it's very easy to have the impulse to try to make it difficult because that will make it more meme-worthy and make people talk about it more. Just make it fun. Just concentrate on making it fun. I know that's much more ambiguous, but it's much more difficult to make a fun game than it is to make something that is arbitrarily difficult. Difficulty can lead to fun, but it can also just make the experience miserable. I would like to be able to enjoy myself every so often. If that comes down to watching a silly boatman get clobbered by somersaulting frogmen, then so be it. But I would like to be able to do that ever so often without a skeletal caster shooting me in the back with skulls because I need to be constantly engaged with the dodging system. It's not even a big complaint. I would just like to be able to stand there and observe for the last 2 hits of a boss encounter. Just some minor enjoyment in my life. I would really appreciate that. Anyway, skeletal bandit ashes. This is the spirit of a bandit who lives in death. Great. And will continue to rise again until we're... Okay, yeah, I get it. After the night of the plot... Alright, is it going to be actual... Is this going to be new lore? New lore in Elden Ring? Deathroot appeared in the lands between. I already knew this. And those who live in death soon followed. I already knew all that. Okay. Okay. Alright, that is done, I guess. What else can I do? Hey, hey, what can I do? Shoot myself in the foot. Should I show off that stupid... No, I don't want to do that. What is this? I have no idea what that actually is. Let me go see what that is. I'll go do that. Anyways, about the leveling system. I guess you could do it so that the attribute... Like, one of the things I really wish they would do is get off this... I don't know. I was about to say I want them to stop it with the whole, you can level the 99 in anything, and get to level 700. Because that's been the source of a lot of problems. Because they're like, oh, you can't beat the game that we made that's completely unfair in places, but not in other places? Just keep leveling up. Oh, I'm sorry, did the final boss kill you in 1 hit? Does it seem completely unfair to you because you can't actually learn the system at all? Because we're not giving you enough leniency within the health to damage system ratio so that you can actually learn the moves so you can respond to them accordingly? Do you think that's unfair? Because it is? Or just keep leveling up. Even though at level 100 billion, you actually still die in 2 hits. Still, just keep leveling up. Like, that's been their excuse for a lot of these things. Is since they let you keep leveling up, then somehow that fixes that problem, and they can just get away with whatever. Hello. Was it just these things that I was marking? Maybe that's what it was. Because I remember, like, going through this area all Alright, stop it. Let me fucking hit these things. I remember going through this area. Alright. God. Standing right on top of the fucking thing, mashing R1 so he'll die, and he just keeps spawning the damn things right under me. I remember going through this area and seeing that guy and not knowing what he was at the time. And being like, okay, that might be something I'm supposed to avoid, and then I just place this here. So maybe it's nothing. Let me check real fast, just to be safe. Let me check bosses in this area. If my internet actually worked correctly, which it does not. It very clearly does not at all. Okay. Go up here. No, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing there. It's just that dragon and that stupid fucking Deathrite bird that I hate. Oh well, let's go show off the Deathrite bird, I guess. The dragon, I don't know if I can actually kill that dragon or not. I mean, I should be able to at 140. I've never bothered trying to fight a dragon, so. I did briefly try to fight that dragon on my strength character, though. Which is way more of a problem on the strength character, because that fight is very clearly built to be, like, you should be using magic or something on it, and bows suck in this game. So, I eventually did kill the stupid bird, for example. How much? Oh, man. 130. I was about to try to empty all my runes, but it's going to be a while. I could go back to the round table and empty my runes that way, I guess. But I was fighting that, I tried briefly to fight that dragon. I even brought someone in, but they died in 1 hit, so I was like, alright, forget it. So I just left. Let me actually pick up this garbage first. At least you can buy the armor without having to worry about using the souls. Because I think her stuff, neither one of these is going to be any use to me at all. Wow, 60 int. Good God. You actually need 70 int for this thing? But it's awful. It's so easy to avoid. And even if you don't avoid it, you can actually magic parry it and kill the other player in one hit because of that bug that's going around. I don't know, their concept of balance in these games is so fucked. It's just getting worse and worse. Yeah, shut up. I don't give a shit about the fingers. Think I'm actually going to finish the game with a normal ending? Of course I'm going to betray you. I'm not sure how yet, but I'm definitely going to do it. Oh, really? Yes. Yeah, alright. Okay. And I guess I can empty the rest here. I'll just buy a bunch of, I don't have a... Oh, I do have his Thought Spell Bearing. Although I've already purchased his garbage, so it doesn't matter. Actually, it should be... Yeah, okay, there it is, yeah. Yeah, I've already got his. Good. So this... I already have all this garbage. Guess I could just... I have lots of these because I did all that mining. I guess I'll just buy more smithing stones for the most part. Do some of this, a little bit of this, and then do some thin beast bones because I always need more of those. And we're good. There we go. Because I don't want to have to worry too much about picking up my pile. And now we got that. Alright. Anyways, yes, them doing the whole you can level as much as you want thing, that actually is creating problems. But if they did institute a max level of like 100, I hesitated because I know since this is FromSoft, then they would make the game way more of a problem. Like they would probably make the game, that would make the game almost incompletable for, is that a word? Incompletable? Uncompletable? For some people. Just because they would hit like max level and they can't level up anymore. They can't do anything. They can't get stronger. But the final boss still kills them in one hit because they have this tilted idea of what the game should be now. So there wouldn't actually be a counter leverage for you to get around that problem anymore. I'm sure if you bashed your head up against anything long enough, then sure, you could eventually beat it, but it won't be fun, and that's the thing that I would be concerned about. Past time, nice. Like, anytime I think about solutions for FromSoft problems, the first thing I think about is not the actual design solution. The first thing that I always think about is, okay, but how would Miyazaki fuck this up? Like, how would Miyazaki come all over this to ensure that it is not fun at all? That's what I actually think about. What would I use primarily? Definitely not that. Probably Flame or Frenzy or my Black Flames. And I'm not even sure if Black Flames work on this thing. So whenever these dudes appear, they kind of just appear out of thin air. Like, see? They kind of just appear. I wonder if this will actually work on him. Yeah, it works. It works. Unfortunately, he's still fast. I wonder if Flame of Frenzy works a little bit better. And unfortunately also, he's very clearly designed for you to fight on horseback. And this area sucks for it. Because it's got this giant fucking building in the way. Also, he has extreme ranged attacks too, that leave these stupid things on the ground that instantly kill you. Oh good, his grab. Oh no, he's not going to use it. Oh wait, forgot. That doesn't heal me. No, dodge. Dodge first. God fucking damn it. I really hate this enemy. Come here. I can't throw that far. I know you can, but I'm not allowed to, because I'm a shitty player. Yeah, this magic is not really cutting it. Surprised he's not attacking more. course, this is a death bird. The targeting sucks. Here's this big, yep, AoE thing that nearly kills me one hit. Yep, there we go. So this guy sucks. I really hate this bird. It's another case of the enemy also looking stupid, and its animations are really stupid looking. So I have no respect for it at all. It really just makes me want to humiliate it in some way, but it's Elden Ring, so I'm not allowed to. Maybe if I use the basic lightning spear, because he's standing in water. Maybe that'll help do that. Or something, I don't know. I don't need lightning strike right now, since there's not multiple enemies, so I may as well use this. And this is going to be stronger than my other little lightning stake or whatever ability. Wait, I forgot. It resets time, doesn't it? Get off. Get off the horse. Get off the horse. I think it resets time. Yes, it did. Okay, let's do a couple of attempts trying to kill this dumb fucking bird. It's a special bird. It's not like the other birds. You've got flames. Oh, so cool. This is so dumb looking. Okay. Well, let's give it another shot. Can't say I really feel like it. Cool. Thanks for eating that. Now what does that do? Well, it does something. Let me... God damn it, I hate that. Like, his range is absolutely obscene. Because he's made for you to fight on a horse. But at the same time, if you're on a horse, he just hits you anyways. Okay, finally, actually allowed it. See, more Elden Ring enemies should do this, where they just look at you, because they have internal stamina. Like, I have no desire to fight this thing right now. Honestly, I hate playing Elden Ring sometimes. It is never... I said it at the very start of the playthrough. It might be the game I put the most hours into eventually because you have to. It's just a really long game. And it's the most modern one. But goddamn, I hate playing Elden Ring sometimes. It just goes out of its way so much to make sure that you just can't enjoy yourself. And I'm at level 140. I'm still taking hits from this thing. Part of it is that I just don't want to bother, but... I don't know. I don't really enjoy any of the weapons either. Because all the enemies are just so long range, and none of them have the range required to deal with them. They're either short range or they're long range, and they're very, very slow. Just everything. I have problems with everything. It's just so frustrating. Maybe on this character I'll go up to like level 500 and just try to face fuck all the content. I don't know. I also have 70 faith. I have 70 faith, and it barely tickles this stupid fucking bird. And he's standing in water. Like, what the fuck? Maybe if I start out with Flamer Frenzy. It barely does anything either. No, don't do that. Was that only 340 damage I saw? 340 fucking damage. 70 fucking strength. I put forth way more effort on my strength character. This is another case where actually it's better to just do normal attacks instead of trying to do a visceral. Because they give you basically nothing on your viscerals. God damn it. Of course this shit gets left on the ground for forever. No, roll! Damn it, why not even bother trying to move? Maybe I'll try using my hilarious, non-functioning... Oh, by the way, even though there are buildings and shit in the way all over the place, his attacks just go through them. Even his little special attacks like that. Yeah, it just does whatever it wants to. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. Yeah. That attack is one of my least... It's one of the least damaging. That's my least favorite one. I tried to roll out of it. But unfortunately, Elden Ring delay. This one that I hate the most is stupid fucking grab. Let me heal. The jumping attacks are so effective. No, kill him, kill him, kill him. God damn it. Fine. Just... There. God damn, I hate this fight. I think I hate Elden Ring. I just never have any fun playing it. The first area, it's that consistent problem that I have with all the modern FromSoft games. In the first areas, I have fun. And the areas that, like, even if the numbers are inflated, like the soldiers, for example, the soldiers remain the same. Their moveset is almost exactly the same throughout every area. You'll encounter, like, stronger versions of them later. Then I'll have fun doing that because their moves are generally fair. But as the games go on, they become so preoccupied with trying to make sure that you die before you're allowed to progress. It's just not fun. I just don't enjoy these games anymore. Ancient Death Rancor. And most of it is just how unfair. It just always comes back to that. Just that feeling of unfairness. Just how preoccupied the games are with trying to face fuck you with animations. So it gives you this completely worthless, for me anyways, spell. Sorcery of the Servants of Death. So these are also why he had it. I guess he was a servant of death, or he's a creation of the Servants of Death, I don't know. Summons a horde of vengeful spirits that chase down foes. Charging enhances potency. They are cinders of the ancient death hex, raked from the fires of ghost flame by... Sure, raked from the fires of ghost flame by Deathbird, sure. Was it trying to say here? That was such a clusterfuck of Miyazaki-isms that... It summons a horde of vengeful spirits, great. Okay. They are cinders. So apparently something used to be on fire, of an ancient death hex. So an ancient death hex, whatever that is, used to be fire-related. And the fire was from a... It was raked from the fires of ghost flame. What is ghost flame? So, death birds used to roam around raking embers from the fires of ghost flame. And ghost flame was created by an ancient death hex. Sure. Okay. If you say so. I don't care. Alright, well, that's it, I guess. Is there any other dumb shit I have to deal with? Just those stupid dragons? Looks like that's it for this area, thank God. So, the only thing left is that stupid dragon down here. No, I guess that's it. The only thing I haven't done are the dragons in each area, which I haven't even tried to do. Got that done, got the Gale Tunnel done, which means I can go into Caelid, which is a fucking horrible zone. Or... I haven't gone down here yet, have I? Or haven't I? No, I never talked to... Was it on the... I can't remember. Was it my other character or this one? But I think it's... Yeah, I think I haven't talked to Blythe yet. On this character. I can't remember. No, I'm pretty sure I did. I can't remember what I've done. There's an item over there I never collected. Because I very recent... No, I have not been here because there's an item right there that I have not collected yet. And I've never even interacted with this summoning pool. Okay, so I guess the next thing that I'll do in next episode will be to go through and do this area until I get to Blythe. Because I don't want to advance Caelid, because that might actually start the festival. Actually, maybe I should. I need to go research what exactly starts the festival, because even though people sometimes say that you can go to Caelid and it doesn't start it, I have seen to the contrary, although that may have been fixed. I don't know. Sometimes you go into Caelid and it just starts the festival. And other times, like I have been there in both circumstances. If you get there early, there are enemies in that area. And presumably you can actually go through doors and shit. But if the festival is started, it locks out a bunch of NPC quest lines. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm so afraid of screwing up the NPC stuff, and this game is really bad about it. Maybe I should go in the Caelid. I don't know, maybe I'll flip a coin. Anyways, I need to stop recording this session because I'm clearly not having a good time, because I've kind of gotten into a rut where I'm just not really enjoying myself anymore. How come my spells do not deal enough damage? It must be because of the... It's another scaling issue. I have a Godslayer seal +9. Maybe that's part of the problem. Because that's one of the weird things about this game, is that... scaling of spells does use... Scaling of anything does use your stats. It does. Why? Why? Yes, there, God. Why do I have to mash it? It does use the scaling off of your numbers. But the items that you use act as multipliers for it. And apparently the multipliers are so incredibly high for each level that most of your damage is going to come from that. So let me run over here and see if I can upgrade my Godslayer seal. See what that does.
Well,
Yeah, shut up.
no matter, it's all out.
Why do they make the thing that he says 95% of the time like 5 or 6 lines of dialogue? And it's always the same thing. FromSoft, why do you do these things? Why are you like this? Okay. I can upgrade this stupid thing. I think the thing that I'll end up using is in the capital, so I guess it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Okay, so +11. I don't know if that actually did anything in regards to my actual damage, though. Let me go... Actually, here, hold on. Let me do what everyone does whenever they're making videos. When everyone wants to show off how amazing their weapon, or their weapon art, usually specifically, is, they'll go down to Gatefront. But look at all these level nothing enemies. I'm slaughtering all of them. It's such a good weapon art. There are almost no circumstances where this exact situation is going to come up. So let me go down here. I want to use my Flame of the Fell God thing. I want to see what happens. It doesn't really do anything. God, it uses up all my FP, too. No, come on. Gather around, ye all. Come over here. Game, don't lock up. God fucking damn it. Hate it whenever... Like, I tolerate it for a few seconds. Whenever it's, like, really aggressive. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. Even to the ones that were not really... It's mainly just the fire. Like the fire effect that's on the ground. Wow, that was disappointing. Well, let's try Lightning Spear, maybe. Can this kill this guy through his... Yes, okay, it can actually... Because they're wearing metal, I don't know. It can kill these guys through their shield, at least. At least it's something. I just feel so impotent in Elden Ring. Like, all the characters just feel so incredibly weak. Even whenever you hit things with your supposedly strongest abilities, it doesn't really seem to do much. And part of that also is that I'm not able to use my Ashes of War yet, because I have to wait for the capital, and I have that problem on top of everything else. I don't know, maybe I'll start enjoying the game more once I hit the capital, but apparently that's when the difficulty starts ramping up and gets even more unfair, so I kind of doubt that. I don't know. It's a bad sign that if I'm not really enjoying myself now, it's just going to get that much worse. Well, that kills him in one hit at least. I don't know, I feel like I should be hitting these guys for like 2,000 damage. Considering that they're like level nothing, and that they should have almost no resistances, and I'm level 140 and I have 70 faith, I'm eventually going to have 80 faith. Like, that's the final bit of dumping I'm going to be doing. It's just ridiculous to me that I'm doing so little damage. But then some people have said that like, you actually don't start getting amazing scale. Look at 50 damage. Like, I know it's through a shield, but that is ridiculous. I just feel so incapably weak. Some people have said that you don't actually start getting the final actual, like, the real damage until you hit exactly 80 on your casting. I have heard that, so maybe that's true. I don't know. I kind of doubt it, though. I know, I just think Elden Ring is a little too preoccupied with trying to make the player feel weak. It's kind of my general criticism of the reason why I have not really been enjoying myself. Everything just it goes back to the open world thing. Like, everything feels more stretched out. It's like the whole game, as far as its scaling and damage and everything goes, it feels like the scaling of the old games, except it's been stretched out like rubber or bubble gum or something. Like, the main thing is, the thing that you can tell has the most effect is leveling up your health. And your defensive values scale a lot with your actual level, but, like, hold on, let me actually run down. Let me do this test real fast. Let me actually just remove everything. I want to see how much damage I take just from being hit. From this guy. Let's see how much damage it is. I'm level 140, so in theory I should take almost no damage. Well, it's 2 hits. That's something. It's still 200 damage. That's another thing. That bar up there, that bar is lying. Hold on. That's 100 damage. No, maybe that is accurate. But it really feels like the front half of the bar does not display things accurately, but the back half is meant to be more dramatic looking. But that can't be the case, no. That's probably not true. It just feels that way because of the way that the way that all the numbers are scaled together. I don't know. I guess I'll stop talking about it either way. I would say that I hope you guys enjoyed this part, but I know I certainly did not. And I feel like whenever I don't enjoy it, it follows through with that as well. Oh, I didn't read the sage stuff. This is the thing that we found inside of that one catacomb we did earlier. A burgundy-pointed hood, attire of the ways sages who were deemed heretical. The ones that use poison, I guess. Evidence that the wearer was driven from town. So, whenever you're driven from town, you're given this hood. They're doing that again. It makes no sense. A lot of Elden Ring lore doesn't really make a lot of sense. You're given this uniform when you're driven out of town. If you're a heretic, you're given this. Be sure to wear it, so everyone knows. Can I just take it off when I leave the area? Don't. Just don't. I mean, I'm gonna. Don't. Stop. Stop taking it off. Stop it. Thick burgundy robe with tired white sages doing heretical evidence of where it's down. Same thing. Alright, so again, absolutely nothing. Nothing to go off of. Here I am laid bare for all to see. Alright. That's it, I guess. I'm gonna go eat. Hope you guys quote-unquote enjoyed this episode. I feel very frustrated right now. I don't quite know what it is. Like, I did fine. Like, only dying to that stupid death bird, like, a couple times, whatever. And I wasn't even really trying the first 2 times. Still, I feel like I should feel the effects of leveling that much more, and I'm just frustrated with having to deal with the enemies. It's that unfairness thing. It triggers that part of my brain. That's what it is. It's almost nothing else. Just, I want games to be fair. If I feel like the enemy is attacking too fast, that it lingers on my mind a whole lot. If I feel like the enemy is doing something like having infinite stamina when it shouldn't be, that also lingers on my mind. It's just the only thing I can think about, and that really bothers the shit out of me. It's one of the reasons why, the primary reason why, with these modern FromSoft titles, I've been getting more and more frustrated with them. It's just a personal thing in my brain, and it just so happens to trigger or whatever that one part. That's what it is. Very frustrating for old Eli. Especially whenever this is supposed to be something I do in my off time to enjoy myself. Anyways, next time we'll either go the Kaled or we'll go underground. I still don't know, because I'm apprehensive about whether or not that's going to screw up my NPC quest lines or not. Because whenever we go down and we talk to Blythe, he says... I kind of mashed up the dialogue on my other character. But he says that, he thinks that old Dolly Botherer up here, Syllabus, he thinks that he might know something about how to proceed with, exploring the Eternal City. And then he's like, well, of course I know, but I can't be bothered, so go talk to Selin. He doesn't know. Go talk to Selin. So you go talk to her, and then she's like, oh, you have to go start the festival. And that starts, that whenever you go talk to Blythe again, then he's like, oh, the festival. I guess I'll go do that. And then he goes to the festival. And that's it. That's all that happens, really. But if the festival starts, and he just goes there automatically, and it completely ignores all this stuff. Is there any reason to go to Kaled early? I can't think of one. Other than I want things that are in here. So I guess next time I will be going underground. Because that's not going to hurt anything. I just... If you've been underground to the Sialfa River, then you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to hate that area too. Because it has lots of the enemy type that I'm talking about. Where they get lots of... They are slow enemies, but they are extremely annoying. Oh well. Okay. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Say goodbye, Nick and Eli.
Hey!
Goodbye. Don't look at me, please. I've had enough troubles for one day. So long.